Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is the live watch-along to the Tottenham Hotspur versus Woolwich Arsenal in a friendly from Hong Kong. And I can tell you, for those of you not double screening with me, it is currently a light show at the Hong Kong stadium before the teams come out of the tunnel. The teams are in the tunnel. And both managers have picked very, very strong sides. I saw a social media post from DT, formerly of Arsenal Fan TV, this morning, and he did a TikTok where he said, "You never lose to them. It doesn't matter if it's a friendly. It doesn't matter if it's whatever. You don't lose to them." I'm not sure if I feel quite as strongly as that. I mean, I don't want anyone to get injured today. I think that's more important. I'd like to see some strong performances. I'd like to see some kind of nods to the idea that maybe the players are taking on board what Thomas Frank and his coaching staff are coaching them, are teaching them, the changes that they want in terms of still trying to score the kind of number of goals that they scored under Ange Postecoglou, but with a little bit more pragmatism. But if we lose this game, and I fear we may well do, because let's face it, Arsenal are a lot further along in their project. They've had their manager for 5 years. They've made 6 summer signings. If we do lose this game, it's not going to be the be-all and end-all for me, but I would like to see some green shoots. That's what I'd like to see. Let's go through the team. You should be able to see it underneath in the strap at the bottom, but Vicario starting in goal ahead of Kinski, Porro at right back, Spence at left back, Van de Ven and Christian Romero start together. Once again, our best centre-back partnership since Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen, that's for sure. And then in midfield, it's Bentancur, Bergvall and Sarr. Sarr, of course, did play in the most advanced role in the game at the weekend against Wickham. So it'll be interesting to see whether he starts in kind of more like the 8-10 role or whether that'll be Bergvall. I would think, based on how much Thomas Frank likes to have the goalkeeper and the centre-backs rolling it into the feet of the two central midfielders in the double pivot, you would think that it would be Bergvall and Bentancur trying to get those balls there, because they are the two players who are confident and comfortable taking it on the half turn, whereas I think Sarr technically isn't as brilliant with his first touch. So that would be my guess, but let's see what happens. And then Frank, I think quite excitingly, he clearly wants pacey wide men in his teams. He did at Brentford, where he had Visser and, of course, Mbeumo. And he's gone with Odegaard and Kudus for Spurs in his first big game, with Richarlison starting up front. Solanke is injured, of course. He did have options. Sonny's on the bench. Tell is on the bench. The bench is actually Kinski, Austin, Danso, Davis, Vuskovic, Abbott, Gray, Bissouma, Donnelly. Maddison is on the bench. Yang, Johnson, Son and Tell. So he did have options, but he's gone for Richarlison. I think this is a good opportunity for Rishi. He needs to prove himself. There are going to be whispers of a potential move for Richarlison away from the club, possibly to Saudi Arabia or back to Brazil. But if he wants to stay at Tottenham under Thomas Frank, he's going to have to come up with the goods, not only in his hold-up play, but score some goals. And scoring in a North London derby, albeit in a friendly, would be a good way to do that. I'll quickly run you through the Arsenal side. Raya, White, Saliba, Kivior, Lewis Skelly, Norgard, the new signing from Brentford, Rice and Odegaard, and then Saka, Martinelli and Havertz. Very strong team. They've only started Norgard from their new signings. Romero and Odegaard just doing the toss in the middle of the pitch. I think it's like the opening for this stadium in Hong Kong. I think I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments, guys. This, I think, does work out this game as good preparation. Obviously, in 3 weeks' time, we play Paris Saint-Germain in the Super Cup. So having a really strong game where he's playing basically a first team, I think is good. He's got Bayern Munich. He's got Newcastle before the Bayern Munich game as well. So basically 4 big games in a row. So we will hopefully start to see some green shoots of what Thomas Frank is trying to do. As I mentioned, Maddison on the bench. It'd be interesting to see if he gets some minutes. Thomas Frank did an interview just before where he said it's a bit early. It was a bit early for him to start this game. So it'll be interesting to see whether he gets any minutes. Vicario starts over Kinski. I was wondering whether Kinski's distribution strength might lead to him starting over Vicario, but clearly Thomas Frank values Vicario's superior shot stopping. And yeah, I'm just excited to see the pacey wide men and how that will work. Saka against Spence at left back will be interesting, because I actually think from last season a lot of what we saw from Spence, he was at his best when he was playing at left back. And with Udogie injured, there's a high chance he might get to start that Super Cup game. So Saka, of course, loves to cut inside from the right onto his left foot, and Spence prefers to defend from the left onto his right foot and show them inside. So that'll be an important part. Coolidge in the comments says, I'm happy to see big Richarlison start. Do get in the comments, guys, throughout the game. I'm sure we're all watching on Spurs play if you're watching it also. There shouldn't be any delay. And we're just about ready for kickoff. Thomas Frank looking serious on the sidelines. Looks like they're doing some kind of countdown. Dave Bird says, we have to remember this is just a friendly, another opportunity for Frank to see how the team are gelling. Come on, you Spurs, wipe the floor with Woolwich. And Anaconic Arden says, we hate Arsenal and we hate Arsenal. And Cantab says, come on, you Spurs, let's go. Spurs have got some interesting coloured numbers on the back of their shirt. Yeah, they're doing a 3-2-1 countdown. And Arsenal kick off. There's some weird camera angles going on here. Anaconic asks for a score prediction. Arsenal have gone long with their first ball. Won by Papsai into Kudus' feet. Gives it back to Sarr. Score prediction. My head says Arsenal will win this 2 or 3-1, I'm afraid. But let's see what happens. Arsenal got a high press on. Romero gives it to Vicario on his goal line, who has to go long with his left foot. Just about gets enough on it. Norgard wins the header. Oh, and Arsenal in a good position in the box here. Good chance for Ødegaard. Deflected wide. All came from a poor kick from Vicario. It's a good atmosphere in the stadium. Thank you to the Big D for gifting me 5 memberships, or gifting somebody 5 memberships. Thank you very much, the Big D. Coolidge says they're going 2-2. Thank you, the Big D. Really appreciate that. Patch Thomas says, please, we're not risking Madders. Okay, here comes the first corner. Of course, Arsenal very strong on set pieces. Let's see if Thomas Frank has improved Spurs' set piece defenders. We've conceded a lot against Arsenal in the last few years. Saka with the in-swinger. Here it comes. Actually, 3 Spurs players were around that one. And Spence will have a chance to clear it. Doesn't get much on it. But coming wide left, and Arsenal go all the way back to their keeper. Raya now looking for a direct one into a channel. But Spence wins that header. Arsenal, I guess, as you'd expect, a little more comfortable on the ball at this stage. As Audebert gives away a foul on Ben White, who, of course, loves to go to ground. Ødegaard now breaking inside right, gives it out to Saka. And this is the first chance we get to see Saka against Spence. Spence pushes Saka to go back to Nordgaard. Comes back out to Ben White. Or as they like to call him, the Arsenal fans, Benny Blanco, which is embarrassing as far as I'm concerned. But Arsenal comfortable on the ball at the moment, getting it out wide right to White again. Ødegaard. Bergvall following him. Gives him a little bit of a kick, but that's okay. And now Lewis Skelly finds it wide left. And it's Declan Rice with a brilliant tackle there from Pat Matassar. Beautiful stuff. And he gives it into Kudus, who loses out. And now Ødegaard outside the box. Finds it out to Saka in and just wide right now, facing up Spence. Goes to the byline, and Spence, good defending. Corner again for Arsenal. But it's good tempo from Arsenal. And once again, straight away, that embarrassing set piece coach of theirs comes out. It'll be another Saka delivery. In swinging. 3 minutes gone, 0-0. Second corner for Arsenal. Ben White looking to come in from deep. Here it comes again. And it's the first header. Oh dear. Huge chance for Arsenal. So Spurs got the first header on it and only reached the edge of the box. And the shot came in. Not sure who from. And then there were loads of Arsenal players in the box. I wonder if any of them offside. So it's cleared the first header. Edge of the box shot from Ødegaard. And actually, it was Saliba who was onside, who had a header from the bounce that goes just wide. Oh dear, very lucky Spurs. Oh, Kudus. Kudus in the box here. Good stuff. Just turned away. Cross comes in from Porro, straight into Raya's hands. And I'll tell you this, there are more Arsenal fans in this stadium than there are Spurs. I think I heard from maybe Chris Cowlin on socials that Spurs have one side of it and Arsenal seem to have three sides of it. Spurs supposedly quite big in Asia, but clearly in Hong Kong, Arsenal have more fans, certainly at this ground anyway. Phil Tang, I've sent my votes to Barnaby, 2 YouTube categories. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that, mate. Arsenal have got to grips with this game much quicker than Spurs. Not a surprise as the ball comes to Saliba. He tries to dink it over towards Saka, who's got it up against Spence again. Comes inside this time. Spence makes him go backward to Ben White, to Saliba, and now to Erdegaard. And Ben White's on the overlap. Up against Spence. He gets a ball in. Oh, Kudus loses the header there, but Porro will see this out for a goal kick. Jason Goddard says, been embarrassing. I think it's a bit early to say that. I wouldn't worry too much. Ryan Law says, I'm pleased we're having a few tough games in pre-season. We'll learn more in these next 3 games than we did in the last 3. Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably true. As Vicario goes short to Romero. Out to Porro, who goes down the line into the channel. Richarlison doesn't get there. And actually, Kivior was able to take a lot of time on that. Could have done with Richarlison being a bit tighter there, I think. Arsenal back on the ball again. Just Spurs unable to deal with Arsenal's press when on the few occasions we've had the ball at the moment. But Arsenal, of course, incredibly well drilled. As Richarlison tries to win the ball high. Bergvall now comes out to press Kivior Saliba, but he just dinks it over the top. Spence up against Saka. Spence has the pace of Saka, though, and does well. The pitch isn't ideal, and Spence does really well, wins a throw in there. Very good defending from Jed Spence up against Saka there. It'll be a really good battle between those two. So many Spurs players have a thing about wearing plaster on their arms. It's weird. Spence, Tell, and Kudus all like to. Arsenal have won it high again off Spurs and get it back. Keep possession. Go back to the halfway line. Saliba to Kivior to Lewis Skelly. And he plays it out wide to Martinelli. Porro stays with him. Martinelli pushed across and back. And then all the way back to David Raya. And Raya goes long over the top. And it's a deep run. But Van der Ven's got his pace with him. Martinelli against Van der Ven. Oh, good ball. This is a good chance here for Arsenal. But he can't get his shot away, Kai Havertz. It just dribbles into... he wants a penalty, but he's not going to get one. And the offside flag went up anyway. Now Romero with the ball at his feet, goading. Oh, it's actually a free kick from the offside, actually. I thought he was just goading Arsenal to come and press him, but actually just waiting. Thomas Frank looks quite serious on the sidelines. His eyes very wide. And he's asking them to go direct here with this, I think, to try and get some... Well, they haven't. They've dropped it into Bentancur and it goes back to Vicario. Vic doesn't have many options here, so he has to go left-footed again and just whacks it up the middle to Richarlison, who's easily out-muscled. But Kudus does beautifully and keeps it well with his strength. Well done, Kudus, and lays it out wide to Odebear. It's his first chance to run at Ben White. Go on, go down the line, Wilson. Tries the cut back. This should be a corner for Spurs, and is. Well done. Great strength from Kudus there. Matty Smith says, thanks for the stream. It works. A pleasure to listen to what's happening. No problem, mate. No problem. Harry says, first time joining Barnaby on Watchalong. Good, mate. Yes, do press that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber to the channel. Daily Tottenham Hotspur transfer news and all the news and views. APEC 20 is sat in the VIP lounge at Valencia Airport watching this. Good for you. Okay, here comes the first corner for Spurs. It's going to be an in-swing from Pedro Porro, who's asking everyone in the box to calm down. One arm up. Just don't put it into the keeper's arms. Oh, it's a great corner. Hits the back post. Oh, and then came, I think, to Richarlison, who heads it down, and it's cleared off the line. Wow, what a delivery from Porro. Wow. So he in-swings it, beats everyone. I tell you what, really good. I think it's Van der Ven, who was really near Raya, and Raya couldn't come and get it as a result, and it hits the back post. Great delivery. As we know, Thomas Frank, he does love a set piece. Arsenal with a good medium range ball there into midfield. Oh, and a great tackle in midfield from Sarr, who started this game defensively really well. Now he's opening his legs going forward. He's got to keep that ball, but he slips. Does well to find Kudus, wins a free kick. Well done, Bappé Sarr. Ødegaard's not happy with that, and probably rightly so. Didn't look like a free kick to me. But it shouldn't be so easy for Arsenal to just chip mid-range balls from the keeper into midfield. Anyway, Bergvall finds Odegaard, who finds Spence. Spurs with a little bit of possession now with Arsenal dropped off in their own half. Bentancur into Bergvall. Out to Spence. Coming narrow again to Van der Ven and across to Romero. Al Jennings says 1-0 Gibbs White, lol. Okay, into Mickey Van der Ven, who lays it out to Spence. Oh, he tries the ball down the line to Odegaard. It's a great ball from Spence. Odegaard can make it. He's at the byline now, fronting up Ben White. Take him on, take him on. Oh, and he tries the cut back, and it goes out for another corner. Beautiful pass there into Odegaard. And that was great because that ball had a lot on it, but Odegaard showed his lightning pace to get there. His final ball wasn't great, but did get the corner. TB Spidey says, how's the atmosphere given it's a friendly? It's pretty bouncy. A lot of Arsenal fans. Anyway, another corner for Porro to whip in. Again, looks like he's going to do the same thing. A lot of movement in the box from Spurs. Goes to the back post this time, but Raya deals with it well. He's good at that. And then Richarlison tries to basically fouls Raya. And now Declan Rice driving forward. And Kudus stayed with him and did really, really well. Beautiful stuff defensively from Kudus. Rice had the run on him, but Kudus got back and won a throw-in. Spurs fans trying to get some noise going in the stadium. First clip of Yang and Son on the bench for Spurs. Anacona Garden says Porro dipped his head in sand. Nice look. Yeah, I've seen those videos too. Porro throws it down the line into Kudus. His back to goal play is brilliant, Kudus. Shows some strength there. Ødegaard knocks him off the ball well. But I like Kudus. Very comfortable taking it back to goal wherever in the pitch. And here comes the long ball over the top from Kivior. They keep trying to do that. It's giving them a bit. It's not over the top. It's kind of into the middle of our half. It's not the greatest pitch of all time. Already starting to break up in places. And they find it out wide left quite simply. Declan Rice taking up a position there. Gives it back to Lewis Skelly. He's a good player, Lewis Skelly. Oh, he's beaten two players there, but Sarr gets a good foot in again. That's the third great tackle from Sarr in this game. And then he goes and helps out his mate, Lucas Bergvall there, and the ball comes to Porro. And he keeps it. Gives it back to Romero, who drops it back to Vicario. Arsenal trying to put the press on Vic. He lays it to Bentancur, though. Goes back to Romero. That was good. And it comes into Sarr's feet. He's got to be careful with it. And that's good stuff down the line from Spurs. And Kudus helps them out. But Arsenal have bodies everywhere at the moment. But they do well, Spurs, to go back. And it comes back to Romero in our own box. He's trying to draw them on. He might have to do a little chip ball there. And he does. Into midfield. But Richarlison can't hold it up. It drops over his head. Saliba finds Raya. And Raya goes long again. They love the long direct ball over the top. And Saka is ahead of Spence. But Spence felt confident he was offside. And the flag goes up. 14 minutes gone. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Arsenal 0 in this game from Hong Kong. It's a good defensive line there from Spurs. Spence was confident that Van der Ven wasn't behind him, keeping him on, and that was the case. So Romero now has the ball at his feet, has to go back to Vicario. He goes long this time, wide left, but it's well dealt with by Ben White in front of Odegaard. It's a good ball into the midfield, but really good stuff from Bentancur. Just knocks off Odegaard, and now he's driving forward. Give it easy to Kudus. That's it. Kudus with some space to run now, and he's got Porro getting outside him. And he does. He finds Porro. Can he get a first-time cross? No, he stops and holds it up. Comes back to Bentancur. That was great stuff in midfield from Spurs. But they've slowed it all down, and as a result, as ever, Arsenal with 11 men behind the ball. Yeah, it does look like Bergvall's playing the most advanced role, as Sarr finds it out wide to Porro. Was tempted to get an early cross in there, Porro, but he doesn't keep the ball. Romero into Bentancur, out wide again to Porro. Back to Bentancur. He looks for Kudus down the line. Kudus takes it and gives it back to Porro. Just moving Arsenal around a little bit here. Kudus comes back to Porro again. And it comes all the way back to Romero, who finds Van der Ven, who opens his body up and finds a good ball out wide to Odegaard, whose first touch unfortunately wasn't great. And Spurs get a throw in, and Arteta's complaining. Of course he is. He complains at everything, but that was obviously a throw in. Gary Riddell says, morning, Barn friends. I'm in California. It's 4:30 a.m. watching on Spurs play, but listening to you. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. And Iconic Garden says, even when we lose the ball, we keep the shape. Such a good change. Yeah, it's been all right. Good ball in from Romero into Kudus, who showed really nicely in midfield there. Up against 4 Arsenal players, so he opens it out to Mickey Van der Ven. Drives it forward, gives it into Odegaard, whose touch is better this time. Spence gets outside him. Goes inside to Richarlison, to Bergvall. First touch to Spence. Spence gives it into Odegaard, who's got men around him. Turns nicely there, Odegaard. Drive. Gets to the byline. That's another corner for Spurs. Oh no, Odegaard keeps it on. Gives it out to Spence, who might fancy a cross here. He chose not to, and it comes back to Sarr and Bentancur. This is better from Spurs, showing a bit of confidence on the ball here. Bentancur opens the ball out to Christian Romero. He's got Van der Ven with him, finds him. And he goes straight to Odegaard as well. And Spence trying to get his run outside Odegaard. Good ball inside from Odegaard to Bergvall. Back to Odegaard. Inside to Bentancur. Could have had a dig there, but doesn't. Oh, good cross to the back post. Nearly comes to Kudus. Goes out for a goal kick. That's Spurs' best passage of play. Oh, Arsenal in here, though, on the left. Declan Rice. And well done, Pedro Porro. Does brilliantly. It goes out for a corner. I think that might have been another medium to long-range ball just over the top of Spurs' defence. Here we go. No, it's Raya. One kick up to Havertz, who beats Van der Ven in the air, and it's too easy. And actually, it's Romero, who tries to head it back to the keeper and only finds Rice. Great defending from Porro, though, to block the shot. So this is going to be an in-swinger from Declan Rice. 18 minutes gone. One arm up. He goes short this time to Martinelli. Back to Lewis Skelly. And it comes to Rice now. Someone's got to stop the cross here. Spurs on their 18-yard box. Comes to Odegaard. He tries the long ball over the top. That's too easy to Saliba. He's got far too much time. But he was offside. And I will say this. It'll be too early to really say this. But at the moment, our offside shape and our offside line reminds me a bit of how good it was under Pochettino. Oh, and Spence is lucky there because he was near. He may have kept him onside there, Spence, but the lino gave it. Roberto G says, hello from Madrid. Come on, you Spurs. Zimmy says, come on, you Spurs. Deltabar says, my confidence level is much higher heading into the season with Frank in charge than it would be with Ange. I'm really glad they had the courage to make the change. 18 minutes gone. Long kick from Vicario up towards Odeberg. He's never going to win that. And Saliba gets it straight back to Raya. He throws it quickly to Ben White on the right-hand side. He passes it inside to Havertz. And I'll tell you what, both Bentancur and Van de Ven together fouled Havertz there. There's a little bit of spite in this game, and you'd expect it. Martin Endine says you should put a timer on so we can sync a stream easier with you. I don't have a timer, sorry guys, but it's 19 minutes 35 where I am now. But I assume we're all watching on Spurs Play, so it should be about the same time, no? I don't know. Anyway, Ben White in the right back position tries a ball through the lines, but Bergwall picks it off well and then turns nicely. Comes inside, but a bit heavily and loses it to Norgard. That's a shame from Bergwall. He did the hard part well. Ødegaard now comes forward and plays a nice ball towards Lewis Skelly. He's got Martinelli outside him. Martinelli up against Porro now. Nice try, but Kudus helps him out and just brushes him off the ball. And Kudus knows he's got the beating of Norgard there, but Norgard does well. And Kudus found Porro, who comes inside to Romero. Goes back to Vic. He might have to go long here. No, he dinks it over the top to Jed Spence, whose first touch is a bit heavy, but he does well. And Spence goes back to Vicario, who has Van de Ven with him. Now Van de Ven does beautifully well. Finds Spence on the left-hand side, who goes down the line into Odeberg, who lets Ben White just be stronger than him there, I think. And that's a shame. Ben White did well, to be fair. Those little things you'd expect. Arsenal is so much further ahead of us than in the project. Spurs just getting to grips with things. But here it comes again to Ben White. Ball was attempted inside, but it was not great. And Spurs have it back with Pap Sarr. Sarr still on the ball. Lays it back to Van de Ven, who lays it back to Big Vic. And Vic gives it back to Van de Ven. He might be tempted to open his legs a bit here. Gives it to Spence, who's under a bit of pressure from Saka. So he goes back to Van de Ven and goes back to Vicario. Now Ødegaard is pressing Vicario. So Vicario tries the dinked ball out wide and kicks it straight off. Now that is exactly where, as we've talked about, that is where you want a keeper who is better with the ball at his feet. You want Kinski. But, as I've said for a long time, Vicario is a far superior shot stopper. So what they're hoping for is that Vicario will get better with his feet, or that Kinski will get better with his shot stopping. If they had a mix of the two keepers together, it would be a great keeper. One thing I would say, though, is Kinski is a lot younger. So Kinski will improve his shot stopping. And he has made some amazing saves for Spurs, by the way. Arsenal, again, just dink one over the top. Romero up against Havertz. Romero lets Havertz take it down, but then gets his foot around Havertz and wins the ball back beautifully. Lays it into Kudus' feet, who turns beautifully. He's around 3 players there, and he wins a foul. That is going to help us. If we can keep Kudus fit this season, that is going to help us so much more, because no offense to Brennan Johnson. Johnson, again, ole. But when Johnson was out wide right, he would never come in deep into midfield to try and hold the ball up and help out his centre-backs. But Kudus wants to be on the ball all the time, does it, has 3 Arsenal men around him and wins a good foul off Miles Lewis-Skelly. And that is the kind of foul that in the Premier League, if you do it twice, you will get booked. Oh, Spurs are in the box there. They were bad directing because they were showing Lewis-Skelly on the floor. But Spurs are in the box. Lewis-Skelly is still on the floor. Oh, good battle there between Van de Ven and Havertz. Stronger than you think, Kai Havertz. It's been a good battle so far this game. This was good shoulders between Van de Ven and Havertz, and Van de Ven ended up going down. Spurs win a free kick. 23 minutes gone, still 0-0. It's a good battle. But they showed that Spurs got into the box and an attacking phase, but I didn't see exactly how, because they were concentrating on Lewis-Skelly on the floor. Frank is now having a word with... I'll tell you what, Lewis-Skelly is injured here because he fouled Kudus. And Kudus is hard as nails. And he's still down, Lewis-Skelly. Looks like a knee injury. He doesn't look happy. Epec20 says, I really like Kinski. Ange tactics didn't help his players, especially his keepers. Yeah, maybe. Michael Zeng says, why are we still asking the other team to press us? Is that the only way to play now? And Anaconic Garden says, if you can't stop shots, you're not a keeper. It's not a matter of not being able to stop shots. It's just that Vicario is actually, in my opinion, an elite shot stopper. He's top level. Shot stopping is the default setting for any goalkeeper, but Vicario is actually brilliant at it. And they're just showing a replay of Sarr, who's done it brilliantly in this half so far. Lewis Skelly is going to come back on. Bill Wiebenerk says, just having a kick about my 12-year-old son who says you're a good commentator, better than Goldbridge. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm slightly less Alan Partridge than Goldbridge, I think. Anyway, we started again. Pedro Porro has the ball on the right. Porro dinks the ball over the top towards Kudus, but Raya spots it. There was just a bit too much on it, and Raya comes out. Good goalkeeping. Kudus is going to be absolute trouble for Spurs this year. He's going to be brilliant if we can keep him fit. He's clearly so comfortable on the right. Everything I heard from West Ham was that because Bowen plays on the right, they switched Kudus to the left, and he didn't like it out there. As Arsenal go long again down the line, but goes off for a throw-in just in Spurs' half. "25 minutes gone, 0-0. Spurs were under a bit of pressure first 10 minutes, I'd say, but have come into it a little bit more in the last 15. A lot of the good, well done Richarlison holding it up there, by the way. And then Kudus plays the big old crossfield ball, and it's beautiful. Finds Odegaard. Spence getting outside, and Odegaard might come inside here. He does. Beats one man, finds Bergvall. Beautiful stuff. Out to Spence now. Comes back to Bergvall. Really good stuff from Tottenham here, who are gaining in confidence, that's for sure. Bentancur plays it outside to Romero, who finds Kudus out wide. He's got Sarr making a run off him. Kudus tries a little trick to beat Lewis Skelly, and he does beat Lewis Skelly. Comes inside, though, because as ever, Arsenal just have bodies behind the ball. That's why they're so strong. They're very hard to break down, Arsenal. Comes back to Romero. Spurs, much more comfortable on the ball last 15 minutes and showing Arsenal that they've got a bit. And as a result, Arsenal have dropped off a lot more. Spence now. He's had a good start to this game as well. Finds Mickey van der Ven, who may well have to go back to Vicario. And Odegaard pressing Vicario every single time. He finds Bentancur, who just goes straight back to Vic, and Vic has more time on the ball now. Good stuff from Bentancur. But Vicario being pressed onto his left foot all the time, so he clears it up towards Richarlison. Oh, tell you what, Richarlison puts Kivior under pressure. Does really well, Rishi, there. Terrible tackle from Kivior. The 2 fouls on Spurs players there, but Kudus got it out, and he has a dig, but the shot is blocked out to Odegaard on the left. Tries a shot, hits the post, Odegaard! And goes wide. Great football from Spurs, as ever. Everything good coming through Kudus. Richarlison did well in midfield. He was fouled, as was Kudus. Kudus has a shot, comes out to Odegaard. You think he's going to go on the outside, but he places it into the far corner, and it hits the outside of the post. And it's been given as a corner. So Kudus is chipping in this corner, in swinger towards Raya. Oh, it's gone all the way to the back, and somehow Richarlison hasn't scored. And Raya is not enjoying these corners. So it's whipped in from Kudus with pace. Beautiful corner. Raya's nowhere near it, and Richarlison at the back stick should just nod it in, but it hits the post instead. Spurs have now hit the post 3 times. And Bentancur keeps the ball now and gives it back to Van der Ven, who goes back to Vicario. Needs help here, and Porro's there. Good stuff. Porro has Romero inside him, but he chooses to go down the line instead. And unfortunately just clears it off the pitch. Enjoying this game at the moment. 500 of you with me as well. Do give this video a like if you haven't already on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. Also, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please do press that subscribe button. Tottenham really playing their way into this game, giving Arsenal a lot of fright. Spurs have hit the frame of the goal 3 times already in the first half an hour of the game. Some good stuff down the left, but really well won again by Pap Sarr, who has won the ball back off Arsenal 4 times so far this half. One of his best performances in the Spurs shirt for a long time here, Pap Sarr, in a defensive way. Van de Ven now finds Vicario. And Vic pressed, so he goes long over the top down the middle. Richarlison, it bounces and Raya's come out. Now it comes to Bergvall, who's not able to get a shot on it, so he just heads it cleverly back to Jed Spence. And look, Arteta and Frank both out in their technical areas giving instructions. And for those of you who really didn't like the fact that Ange Postecoglou never came out and gave instructions, Frank is doing the opposite. Romero with a very rare poor ball there. Didn't see that Kudus had come short for it and tried to knock it over the top for him. So Arsenal have it back now with Kivior. And he wants to go long straight away, but decides not to. Cantab says Van de Ven tormenting Raya. Yeah, Van de Ven is just basically standing on Raya from those corners. As Raya now goes long over the top as well. But Romero wins the first header, but drops at Rice's feet. And Bentancur's the wrong side of him here. But good, important touch there. First from Spence, second from Odegaard. But then Odegaard loses it, trying to be a bit too clever outside the box. Arsenal have it back with Odegaard. Comes back to Norgard. And now Kivior and Saliba in Spurs' half. Comes out wide right to Ben White. Arsenal having a bit of possession here. But you can see, certainly over the second half of this first half of the game, Spurs' confidence rising. That's for sure. Odegaard in the inside right position now. Comes inside. Looks to dink it to the far post. Porro was on his own there, but he got a good header on it. Comes back once again to Kivior. Dinked back over to the right-hand side with Saka fronting up Jed Spence here. Spence showing him the line. Oh, but Saka did well. And then Bentancur helped him out and Saka fouled him. Is it Bentancur? Yeah, number 30. And Bentancur doesn't look comfortable there. He's still down. So Saka came inside. Spence got a touch on it, but Saka was there. Yeah, and then Bentancur came in and Saka's kicked him basically on both ankles there. But Spence did okay there. Last thing we could do with is Bentancur being injured. Rishi, very unlucky. And it's a cooling break. So that'll give more time for the physio. It looked like it should have just been it looks like an impact injury for Bentancur. Didn't look like he twisted it. He looks sore, but they just wear such tiny little... and they're just showing a replay. Sorry, they're going to say they wear such tiny shin pads these days. They're just showing a replay of some of the good hold-up play from Kudus this half. And good defensive work from Spence. But Kudus, again, he's really been the star of this. As far as I'm concerned, Kudus has been the star of every friendly that Spurs have had so far that he's played in. What I've loved about Kudus more than anything is how willing he is to work back defensively as well. Kevin 40K says, hi Barnaby, sorry I'm late to the match. How's it been going? First 10 minutes, I'd say Arsenal were stronger and more pressurizing, and we found it difficult to deal with their press. But since then, we've hit the bar, or we've hit the post 3 times, and you can literally see the Tottenham players growing in confidence. And Arsenal, as a result, in my opinion, have started kind of sitting back a little further. So they're showing the first one, Porro's first one, just a Whipper Jones in swinging corner. Van de Ven was stopping Raya from coming out to get it. Second one was Odegaard in the chance from the inside left position, rolls it towards the far post, hits the outside of the post. And the third one came from the resulting corner, whipped in from Kudus, all the way to the back post, where really Richarlison was just the wrong side of the post, could have nodded it in, but couldn't, and it hit the far post. Yeah, Patch is right. Says Kudus looking very good attacking threat, just energy all over the place. Jed looking comfortable. That's right. Anyway, free kick to Spurs, and Bentancur is going to come back on. Bentancur only 1 year left on his contract. I would be keen if I was Spurs to sign him up. I don't think we can afford to lose Bentancur at this stage. As Vicario goes long with his free kick up towards Rishi, who does well up against Norgard to flick it on. Ben White gets there ahead of Odegaard and gives it back to Raya, who lays it across first time to Kivior. Bergvall putting the press on. So Raya will go long. And it's Spence up against Saka. Spence does well with the first one. Odegaard helps him out and is kicked in the back. Odegaard goes down there because he felt a kick. Has the ref given it? Odegaard basically holding the ball up. Ben White behind him. Yeah, and Ben White just kicks his right leg. Can't do that. Should be a free kick to Spurs. I think it was just a throw in the end. Ref basically bottled it. Bentancur gives the ball away there, and Saka gets ahead of Spence, and Bentancur just takes out Saka, and that's a free kick to Arsenal. I think he did the right thing, to be fair. Oh, and he gets booked. Chill out, ref. Jesus Christ. It was a booking, to be fair. Important foul for Spurs, for Bentancur to give away there, as long as they're able to defend this set piece strongly. It's Rice who's going to take it. It's wide right, probably about 15 yards outside the box. Spurs have got their defensive line around about the penalty spot. They've got 3 men at the back, though, here, Arsenal. Saliba, Kivior, and Havertz. And Spurs defending zonally. For me, though, Vicario should claim anything that goes to the back. Comes in. First header won well by Sarr, I think, at the near post. Comes back to Rice, who's at the halfway line now. Do get your questions ready for half-time, guys, which is in about 9 minutes' time. As Arsenal dink it over the top towards Saka. He keeps it on well, lays it back to Odegaard. Keeps it. Back again to Norgard. Finds Kivior, who lays it out to Lewis Skelly. He's got time, so he finds Martinelli. Porro's going to have to stop the cross coming in here. Richarlison helped Porro out against Martinelli there, so Arsenal forced back. Good stuff from Rishi. Bergvall puts the press on Saliba, but a lot of space here for Saka, whose movement is good. Fronts up Spence, so he has to come back centrally into Saliba. Once again, Saka fronted up by Spence. Saka gets the cross in this time. It's cleared at the near post by Mickey van der Ven. Comes back out to White. 36 minutes gone. Oh, good ball in between the lines there, but Odegaard helps out. But Odegaard accidentally finds Saka with his touch trying to help out. They're in the box here, Arsenal, but really good from Van der Ven and wins a foul. Beautiful stuff from Mickey. Outstanding defending. Vicario pressed now on his left foot. Tries to dink it to Spence, who wins it well and then is fouled in the back. But brilliant play from Richarlison, finds Bergvall. Don't lose it here. He does well, Lucas, to keep it, but just plays a pass behind Porro, unfortunately. But he did well. Really well played in midfield from Richarlison there. Porro with a big diag. Beautiful crossfield ball to Odegaard. Gets it down. He's got Spence outside him. Oh, and Odegaard tried to find him, but it was blocked. But Bentancur clears up well. Gives it to Van der Ven and comes back to Bentancur now, just in his own half. He's got Sarr inside him. Takes it on the half turn and opens it out to Romero. Oh, lovely ball back to Sarr there from Romero. Sarr finds Lucas Bergvall. Wide right position. Out to Kudus. Taking on Lewis Skelly here, Kudus. Uses his strength well. Finds Porro coming backwards. Back to Kudus. Beautiful down the line, but just round the corner from Kudus there into Bergvall's feet, but Bergvall was offside. I thought he might be. Super cute. He says, hope we can find a faster new striker to rotate with Solanke. Don't think it's not gonna be that easy to find a striker who will happily rotate with Solanke, to be honest. I think Richarlison's a decent option. The problem with Richarlison is he doesn't stay fit. If we could keep him fit, then he would be a great option. Raya is going to take this free kick just outside his box, and he's going to kick it long. And Sonny on the bench, he looks very sad to be on the bench. He's kind of warming up, but he doesn't look happy. He's clapping the crowd, but he doesn't look delighted. Big headed win there from Romero, and Kudus gets there first ahead of Lewis Skelly, who kicks him. And then Kudus with a bit of a lazy ball out to Porro, who was fouled. And eventually the ref gives the foul, and it was a foul. And Norgard's complaining. Norgard complaining right in the ref's face there. You should book him. You book Bentancur. You should book him for that. Just a little bit of laziness there from Kudus. And it was a foul. Martinelli on Porro. Coming into the 40th minute. Chris Pretijon says Porro should be captain. He's already a Spurs legend. Doesn't strike me as captaincy material, though, Pedro, but he's a great player. Good ball into Richarlison. Got to hold that up, but in the end it comes to Sarr. He does well to help him out. Sarr in midfield now finds Porro. Spurs have the ball again and go back to Romero. And he comes to Vicario, who's pressed onto his left foot again, but he opens it out with his right foot into Spence. Needs an option here, Jed. Being pressed by Arsenal, turns away, tries to beat the man and loses it to Saka. He'll have to take his foul there, and he does. It's good pressing there from Arsenal. Spence didn't have many options. And Arsenal have another free kick. Similar areas, the last one, but actually a bit more narrow. But yeah, still wide right. Middle of Spurs' half. Vicario bossing his defenders around. Ref is asking where the ball is. It's going to be Declan Rice taking this free kick. We're at 41 minutes. Come on, Spurs. It'd be good if you could stay strong going into half-time here. Patch says that Spence got the ball there. Nah, don't know. Not much of it. He was behind him, it felt to me. Anyway, here comes the free kick from Rice. Again, Arsenal have men at the back. Again, cleared at the front post by Spurs. Comes back out. Kudus putting a press on. Does really well to make him go all the way back to Raya here, Kudus. And Raya has to go long. Great stuff from Mohamed Kudus there. Mickey van der Ven gets his head on the first one and Bergvall clears it. Up to Kudus. Holds it up on his chest beautifully. Oh, and then just tried. He wins the foul there. Beautiful from Kudus. I thought he maybe tried to keep it 1 second too long, but he did beautifully. He's certainly been Spurs' player of the first half here, Kudus. His back to goal play. Oh my God. When him and Solanke are playing together, that will give us so many options back to goal in the final third. Fantastic stuff. Taken now by Bentancur to Van der Ven. Gives it straight to Odobert. Beautiful pass. Odobert comes inside. He had Spence outside him. Bergvall back to Van der Ven. Can he find? He can't. He turns back towards Vicario. He's outside his own box, forced to go with his left foot down the line. Yeah, poor kick again on his left side. And now Arsenal are in down the right. But good defending from Spurs, and they keep it on as well. Romero nutmegs. I'll tell you what, it's an absolute shocking tackle in the box there after Romero's nutmegged his man. And then Bergvall with a lovely dink to Sarr, who finds Rishi. Oh, heavy touch from Rishi. What a shame. Absolutely horrendous tackle in the box as Romero nutmegged one of the Arsenal players. Amazing. And Spurs have the ball in midfield with Bentancur. He wants to try a dink ball, but in the end decides just to come left to Mickey van der Ven, who opens it out to Spence, who wants the ball over the top towards Odobert. And unfortunate for Odobert there, slips just after Ben White had kicked the ball at him, and that's a goal kick. Neil Sharpton says Kudus is more slippery than an oil slick. Akash says, I'd love to see Mickey left back. No. Why? He's an absolutely elite centre-back. You don't want to do that. Trust me. Also, we don't want him to be sprinting all the time. Only when he needs to. His hamstrings aren't strong enough for that. As Raya goes long again up towards Saka, who does well up against Spence, but Spence gets a good foot in there. Bergvall tries to help out, but Norgard takes it, gives it to Ødegaard, and now some time out wide. Oh, and Spence dived in there. Maybe he shouldn't have done it, but Van der Ven dives in on Saka, and it's a throw-in. Good stuff. Into the last minute of the first half here, depending on what he gives us as added time. Saka has the ball. Bit easy for Arsenal to take that throw there, and Ødegaard gets a free cross in as a result. Just a bit lazy from Spurs there. Need to stop the cross. Anyway, Arsenal have the ball back, middle of Spurs' half. Ben White. Good pressing, though, from Bergvall, and now Richarlison, forcing them all the way back to Raya. Raya goes in between the lines. Good ball, but Spurs win it in the halfway line. Oh, I tell you what, he's having a dig here. Papsar! Papsar scored from the halfway line! David Raya came too deep. I said Papsar has had an excellent first half, but did I think he had the technical ability to score from the halfway line? No, I did not. Raya heads it out. And that is a unbelievable goal. Right on the stroke of half time. And the press was on. That was absolute glory. Raya with a little dangerous ball, and Spurs win it. Sarr with the tackle himself and just does him from just inside Arsenal's half. Absolute glory. And they're arguing that I don't know if it was Lewis Skelly was fouled by Richarlison, but I don't care. It was a dangerous ball. Nah, I mean, probably a foul, but brilliant. What a moment. And that is the kind of thing, that can really improve. I mean, I'm not saying he's had a great game, size. He's made 4 unbelievable tackles, but that is the kind of thing that can improve a young player's confidence when going forward. Brilliant from Sarr. And he scored 2 goals the other day, didn't he? Fantastic. All right, they found 3 added extra time here. And Spurs have given away a free kick, though, in a dangerous area. 3 minutes added time. It's Romero's given away that free kick. I didn't see what happened. It's on Havertz. He's a whinging bastard at the best of times. So this will be a chance for Arsenal to whip in a free kick towards Vicario from the inside left position. So in this first half, Spurs have scored 1 from the halfway line and hit the post 3 times. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a left-footed ball from Ødegaard. Spurs keeping their defensive line about 16 yards out. That is a difference from last season where Angie's defensive line would always be on the 18-yard box. But Ødegaard's going to whip this ball in. We're into the 48th minute nearly. Here it comes. Can't really see what's happening. And I think that's headed over his own bar. I think maybe by Papsar, is it? Great defensive clearance from Sarr. Really good defending from Papsar there, just ahead of Nordgaard. So about 30 seconds left of this half. This will be an in-swinging corner from Bukayo Saka, Arsenal's 3rd corner of the game. One arm up. Here it comes. Oh, and they nearly score at the near post, but it's cleared. And Spurs, unlike the last couple of years where they've conceded those goals at the near post, they've got enough bodies around so that they can't flick it towards goal. It's actually really well blocked, I think, by Benskub. It's another corner to Arsenal, who are flexing their set-piece muscles at the end of this half. It's gone 48 minutes, so this will be the last play of the half. This will be bent in from the other side by Declan Rice. He's taking his time. If I'm the ref, just blow up, mate. Just blow up. It's clear that the time is up. Here comes Declan Rice, though. Arsenal. It's a zonal marking system from Spurs. Here comes the in-swing. It's towards the back post. Free header. It's got to be cleared and is by Richarlison. And how is that not blown up for half-time with it being 48 and a half minutes? This ref's taking this all a little bit too seriously, but this is too easy for a free header at the back post. It was Havertz. absolutely teeming down in London, I can tell you that. But in Hong Kong, it just looks warm. It's another corner for Arsenal. Saka going to whip this one in. He's found another extra minute. I don't know how here, the referee. Arsenal with lots of movement in the box. Here it comes, cleared at the front stick. Great defense from Spurs. And that is half time. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 0. And Arsenal have had a fair amount of possession, sure, especially in that first 10, 15 minutes. But since then, Spurs have shown some real confidence. They played their way back into the game. They made some chances and they've hit the post 3 times. And Pat Matasar scored from the halfway line. Not sure I ever thought I would say that about Pat Matasar. Not the most technically gifted player, or he hasn't shown it so far. A real engine of a player, opens his legs well. But if he starts to really improve that technical side of his, also, he didn't just try and whack it. He really caressed it. One of those where he just hit it with his laces. Kind of a real flat finish from just inside the Arsenal half. And that's what makes it Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 0 in the North London derby from Hong Kong. Let's talk. I'll talk through a little bit of what happened in that half. Then I'll give my opinions on how the players have been performing, and then we'll get into the comments. So do send any questions you have into the comments, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I know how hard it is during a work day. Please, if you are watching, do give this video a like. And if you're not a regular subscriber to my channel, do press that subscribe button for daily Tottenham Hotspur transfer content during the window, as well as all the news and views from White Hart Lane. So in the first minute of the game, it was the start of a pattern, actually. Arsenal pressed Guillermo Vicario very hard onto his left foot. So he's forced to clear it with his left foot, and it was a low, poor clearance, and it led to a shot from Ødegaard just outside the box, blocked for a corner. That was the first time we saw one of Saka's in-swinging corners, of which I think there have probably been about 4 or 5 this half. But good defending from Spence in the second minute against Saka. He's done really well against Saka this half, showing him onto the inside, getting his tackles in, showing him onto the outside and clearing things for corners. Third minute, Saliba had a header just wide. That came from one of Saka's corners. It was cleared to the edge of the box. Ødegaard had a shot on the volley, which he bounced straight into the ball on his shot. And Saliba was onside, and he heads it towards the far corner, but it goes just wide. They're just showing a replay of Raya's goal there, and Raya very frustrated. It was arguably a trip from Richarlison, I think on Lewis Skelly in midfield, but it wasn't given. It's not an obvious trip. I mean, it is an obvious trip, to be honest. If he got contact, it's not obvious as to whether there was contact or whether Lewis Skelly dived. They're just trying to they're just showing this for the goal here. They're trying to show, I'm not sure that Richarlison touched him or not. It looked a bit like Lewis Skelly was expecting the touch, but I'm not sure. It's hard to see. It's really hard to see. Anyway, 7th minute, a long ball from Raya led to a chance from Havertz. He was almost in one-on-one there, Havertz, but he couldn't get enough on the shot. And that is another pattern from that first half. Arsenal have been very, very keen to play kind of medium and long-range balls, trying to get over the top of Spurs. However, compared to under Ange Postecoglou, it is fair to say that Spurs' defensive line is at least 5-10 yards deeper, and we are not being gotten in behind nearly as easily as we were against last season. 8th minute, the first example of some unbelievable strength that he's shown throughout the first half from Mohamed Kudus in central midfield. He loves to come deep for the ball from his wide right starting point, take the ball with his back to goal, and really help those defenders and midfield players to play, who have the ball and are being pressed, to play the ball into his feet. And he uses his strength, his low center of gravity, and his kind of basically big rump to let players bounce off him, win free kicks, or turn and open the ball out. Really great stuff. He found the ball out to Odebear in the 8th minute, who won a corner. And Odebear's looked lively without being able to really definitively get the best of Ben White. Amazing corner from Porro in the 9th minute. It's the first time we hit the post. It goes over everyone. Mickey van der Ven putting so much pressure on Raya, who is not enjoying it at all. And the ball goes all the way and hits the back post and goes out. 11th minute, beautiful ball behind Arsenal into Odebear, who won a corner. That's another example of us playing it in behind Ben White. And then from kind of the 13th to the 16th minute, Spurs had their best passage of play. It ended with a dink ball, I think, from Bentancur over to Kudus that didn't quite find him. But we had 3 minutes of possession, taking it left, taking it right, moving Arsenal around, and really, like I said, showing that confidence. 17th minute, Rice was nearly in on goal after a long ball from Arsenal led to a poor back header from Romero, and actually Porro helped him out with some great defending. And I think Porro is one of the players who is really benefiting from a deeper defensive line. He didn't show a great deal of defensive brilliance last year as a result of being so high up all the time, but he's already shown in this game with that block from Romero's mistake from Rice that he's showing some defensive quality. 23rd minute, I've just made a note to say it's a good scrap this, and that Sarr had been brilliant so far with 3 or 4 brilliant, important defensive tackles. 27th minute, we hit the post again, this time Odegaard. Kudus had his shot blocked after good play from Richarlison, in which there should have been 2 fouls given against Arsenal. And then the ball came from Kudus to Odegaard, and he shapes almost Thierry Henry style to try and bend it into the far corner. He actually didn't get any bend on it, and it just hit the outside of the far post. That was the 3rd time actually we'd hit the post, because the 2nd time came from a corner earlier on from Kudus on the right-hand side. Again, Van de Ven causing all sorts of trouble to Raya, and it came all the way through. And Richarlison should have probably nodded in at the back post, but he was in just the wrong position, and it hit that back post and went back over the bar. 31st minute, Bentancur does really well defensively to help Spence and won a free kick in his own box. 35th minute, Bentancur took one for the team. Pretty bad foul on Saka, but an important one, and he got booked for that. 37th minute, outstanding defending from Mickey Van de Ven in his own box. When we were under a bit of pressure, he saw that the ball was breaking. He got a foot in there and went down for a foul. 40th minute, Spence had to give away a foul of his own after some good pressing from Arsenal. This was a period where Arsenal had a few free kicks outside the box, and we've dealt with all the set pieces really well. Some pressure in the 42nd minute, again in our box, but Romero, under pressure, managed to nutmeg one of their players. I think it was Havertz who gave away a horrible foul on Spence, which the ref didn't see. And then the goal came, 45th minute. Sarr pressing in the halfway line after Raya tried to play a ball in between the lines into, I think it was Lewis Skelly. Richarlison may have tapped him, but Sarr picks the ball up, sees Raya miles off his ball and just off his line, and just caresses it. A flat shot from the halfway line, and Raya running backwards like he's in treacle, watches it go straight into the back of the net. And then Sarr does another bit of brilliant play in the 3rd minute of added time. Beautiful defensive header. And he's having a wonderful game, Pat Matasar. Bergvall is the player in the 3 in midfield who's kind of furthest forward, and Sarr doing some brilliant stuff in that kind of what I would call the kind of 6-8 role, with Bentancur also doing well just in front of the back 4. Okay, in terms of performances so far, Vicario has been pressed a lot onto his left foot. His kicking has been okay, no better. At least one occasion he kind of hacked it out of play when he's trying to play a chip ball into midfield, but he hasn't had to make any saves really. Porro's done well, just doing Pedro Porro things, looking sharp, but like I said, his defensive play has been better. Spence, really, really good half from Jed Spence, coping with Bukayo Saka really well, showing that he's got the pace on Saka there. They're actually just showing a replay of that. Spence, I'm genuinely thinking these days a better left back than he is a right back. Let me know what you think in the comments. Van de Ven and Romero playing as brilliantly as they do. I'd like to see maybe Van de Ven only getting kind of 60, 70 minutes. I don't know. It depends. It'll be interesting to see whether both sides try and make a lot of changes in the second half to get minutes into the players' legs. You'd think they would, but the fact that it's a North London derby, who knows? Bentancur, really, really well played in front of the back 4, doing really nicely, getting on the ball well, but also getting his foot into tackles importantly. He has been booked, important to remember that. Sarr, been my player of the match alongside Kudus so far, got the goal. 4-5, really important defensive actions. Bergvall, not as involved in the game as maybe you'd like, but neat and tidy. Odegaard looking sharp, getting into the byline a few times. His final ball could perhaps be better, but he's a young, raw player. Kudus, like I said, my player of the match, just showing all sorts of stuff. Back to goal, breaking forward, showing pace, wants the ball all the time. Looks like a fantastic signing. And Richarlison doing what Richarlison does, really, being a bit of a nuisance, getting in around players, winning the odd header, trying to hold the ball up. But we haven't made any chances for him so far. Okay, so I'm going to get into the comments, see what you guys have been saying throughout the game. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have a look as well and see what people are saying on Twitter at the moment. Harry Scar says, great that we're ahead at the break. Bardi saying, Bardi from the Extra Int saying, only friendly, but much better than anything and served up versus anybody in the last 12 months. That's a bold statement from Bardi. Ben Bowman, Make sure you follow both the Extra Inch and Ben Bowman. Ben Bowman's on TikTok and YouTube. He's a really great content creator. He says, I've been impressed with our ability to win the ball back and turn it over in the middle third of the pitch. Good energy from Bentaker and Sarr in particular. Nice structure as well. Doesn't feel like we're going to concede every time we lose it. That's a really great point. Definitely an improvement on how open we've been in central midfield. Jay Harris says, this is about when Romero nutmegged Havertz in his own box. He says, oh my word, Romero just pulled off the most outrageous nutmeg in his own box on Havertz, who then smashed into Spence because he was so out of control. Yeah, it was a horrible foul and should have been a booking, I think, for Havertz there. Billy T says, Richarlison cupping his ear to a load of Arsenal fans from Hong Kong. He may have missed from 1 centimetre out, but he just gets it, I'm afraid. Yeah, he did miss from 1 centimetre out. That's absolutely true. And let's see what else people say. Let's get into the comments here, though, guys. Coolidge's score prediction from the beginning of the game was 2-2. Yeah, let's see what happens. Godfrey Drummond made an early comment saying, hi, B, let's see how we defend these set pieces. I have to say, I think our defensive work from the set pieces has been really excellent so far, Spurs showing a kind of defensive willingness that is exciting to see. Very exciting to see. Let's see what else we got here. Good point from Martin Campbell here. Says, I've seen great preseasons and rubbish league run and crap preseasons with a good league campaign. Yeah, just kind of showing that it doesn't really matter too much, does it? But certainly more enjoyable to be winning at this stage than to be losing. Neve, or Niam, not sure which it is, says Vicario has gone long more times in the first 15 minutes than the entirety of the last 2 seasons. That, I think it's fair to say, is true. And what I'd say about Thomas Frank that I've seen is that he wants the team to play out from the back and try and goad the opposition on to press so we can find space. But the difference with Big Ange is that it doesn't have to be every single time. If there's nothing there and we're being pressed too well, then at that point the players are told, you get it into the channel and we'll try and win the ball higher up. So I think I'm in full agreement with you there, Neem, and that is probably, the safer way to be. Let's see what else you guys are saying. A few people asking for a clock so that you can sync. Unfortunately, I don't have a clock to put on. I'm technically not able to do that at the moment. So apologies. And I realize I've got to turn the banner back on. Apologies for that. APEC20 says, looking forward to Frank's development of Odegaard, Tell, Gray, and even Solanke. Totally. And how much are we loving, as Kudus, as Kantab says here as well, Kudus loving big Spurs instead? How good is Mohamed Kudus? Oh my God. We need to keep that man fit. He is an absolute star. And he's still, what is he? Still young. West Ham fans, saying they wanted rid of him. I think maybe what you should be saying is he shouldn't have let, who was it, their manager at the beginning of last season fall out with him, and they shouldn't have let him play any other position than right wing. Anyway, here are the stats. 6 Arsenal shots, 5 Spurs. On target, 1 from Spurs, none from Arsenal. 6 Arsenal corners to 3 from Spurs. 3 Arsenal offsides, 1 from Spurs. 1 yellow card, Spurs, none Arsenal. Ball possession, maybe surprisingly, 51% to Tottenham Hotspur, showing how Arsenal have gone a bit more direct than Spurs have at the moment. Anaconic Arden says, so far the weakest link is Vicario. Look, we are playing one of the best pressing teams in the league. So he is going to hack some balls out. That's the reality. But he's done okay as far as I'm concerned. He's done okay. Sai's going to go well, says Richarlison needs replacing. I think the thing for me is, I can understand why people are saying that. Mainly for me, it's if he's going to be replaced, it's because he gets injured too much. But I really don't think we'll find many better, rotational centre forward options than Richarlison, unless we're willing to pay 70-odd, 80-odd million pounds. 70-odd, 80-odd million pounds is what Newcastle and Man United are going to have to pay if they want to get Benjamin Sesko. And I just think at the moment, the key is, can we keep Richarlison fit as a rotational option? Because if we can, I think he could be the best option we'll get realistically. But Super Cute Cutie disagrees, says waste of space. EPEC20 wants us to get Eze and Wissa. I think, unfortunately, Arsenal are getting Eze, and we need to sell before we get Wissa. Actually, I think it was John Percy in the Telegraph did a really good article this morning. I'm not always his biggest fan, but a good article about how Spurs are really struggling to buy players because of how bad Spurs have been in selling players in the last 5 years or so. I'm actually going to talk about that in my video tomorrow, probably, but it's worth looking out that article if you haven't seen it already. Anaconic Arden says, we're seeing Frank's real gameplay now. Such a pleasure. More, please. Yeah. And Noshia's saying Frank's organisation looks good. Looks like the players are coming back out on the pitch, actually. Sonny is still on the bench, so he hasn't come on at halftime, that's for sure. And let's see what the newest comments are saying. Paul Phillips, great commentary, Barnaby. The best I've heard. I appreciate that. Thanks, mate. Really kind comment. Super Cute says, when we keep Saka quiet, Arsenal lost their dangerous counter-attack. And the game has started. The second half has started. All right, there we go. Romero goes long. I've enjoyed that half-time with you guys and your comments, guys. Come on, how good would it be if Spurs could find a win here? I'm not confident we will, but let's see what happens as we go back to Vicario, who goes first time to Van der Ven, and he just puts it in the channel. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Bergvall thought he was fouled off the ball there. Sarr does brilliantly again, nicks the ball off Kirior, and then he's fouled Kudus. And Kudus turns and drives at the Arsenal. And now it comes to Porro. Bit of a poor ball. Deary me. And no foul given against Porro there. Ball into the box and it falls at Ødegaard's feet. Good start from Spurs in that second half there. Oh, and Saka does well there. Up against Spence to find White outside him, and Arsenal keep it and bring it into midfield. Bergvall does well in midfield there. Wins it back again. Sarr and Bergvall. And Kudus now. He's just goading players, and he plays it inside to Richarlison, drops it off. Bit of a poor ball to Sarr, but Sarr opening his legs in midfield now and does well and wins a foul. Really good start from Spurs in this second half. And Spurs take it short. Spence out wide now. And beautiful from Odegaard, who finds it outside him, but Odegaard keeps it. Comes back to Bergvall, who finds Jed Spence. Spurs again, like we were for the most of that first half, looking confident on the ball. Bentancur now. Just moving Arsenal a bit around on the left-hand side. And it comes back to Van der Ven, who offers just such brilliant balance as he finds Romero. He goes out to Kudus. Oh, it's just causing trouble straight away to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly does well. It should be a corner, though, I think. And it's not been given as a corner. It's been given as a goal kick. But Lewis Skelly is one of the... He's proven himself in the last 6 months, one of the best young left-backs in the Premier League. And it's a good battle between Kudus and Lewis Skelly. Kudus definitely had the better of it first half, but Lewis Skelly just got in a good, important tackle on Kudus there. Raya being pressed by Richarlison, plays it into Ødegaard. And Kirior plays it nicely down the line to Lewis Skelly, but really nice play there from Kudus. Arsenal trying to take the throw in from 15 yards further down the line than it was. Great defensive play from Kudus there. I'm really impressed with him, both forward and back. Saliba gives it into Lewis Skelly, who comes inverted. Gives it out to Kirior. Bergvall just pressing Saliba, who goes for a big diag over the top of Jed Spence, who really I'm afraid, let Havertz win that header there, but Jed Spence comes back in. Was it Havertz? Yeah. Havertz is really good in the air, but Jed Spence and Mickey van der Ven have both lost defensive headers to him so far this game, and they just need to realise to get up first, use their bodies to make sure they get up first, and then Havertz won't be able to beat them to it. 48 minutes gone. Pitch really starting to break up now. It's not a great pitch at all over there in Hong Kong. Very brown in places. Vicario goes short with his kick to Romero, who goes straight back to Vic, who goes to Mickey van der Ven. And Arsenal have the high press on here, so van der Ven just dinks it into central midfield. Richarlison using his strength there. And he's fouled a few times there, Rishi, but Spence manages to get the ball and gets it out to Odegaard, who does well coming inside there, Odegaard. Can he find Kudus? He can, and Kudus is in loads of space here. Chance to run at Lewis Skelly. Kudus running towards the box. No, don't come inside. Should have gone outside. That's a shame. Bentancur does well to win it back, though. If Kudus had gone outside onto his right foot, he would have had a good shot opportunity there. But really good stuff from Odebear. And Spurs have the ball back again. Saar finds Van der Ven. We're about 20 yards inside the Arsenal half now. And interestingly, Romero stays deep when we're in this position, and Van der Ven plays a bit further up as Porro tries to break forward, turns, and finds it out to Kudus. And Porro's gone for the reply there, but Kudus comes back towards Bentancur, who gives it back to Kudus, who just tries a little dink. Oh my God, Kudus is so fun. He's so fun and wins a foul off Lewis Skelly and then takes it quickly back to Bentancur. Kudus is having a lot of fun in this game. I think the Tottenham players know that they have got a proper baller on their hands with Kudus. They love giving the ball to him all the time. Romero finds Van der Ven just inside Spurs' half now, and Van der Ven opens his legs a bit, plays a great ball first time to Odebear, and Odebear has Spence outside him. Odebear comes back to Van der Ven. Bergvall out. Good stuff at Spurs. Unfortunately, 3 men there ahead of the ball, and Ødegaard does well. And Romero wanted to just give away the foul there. He does foul him, but the refs played play on, and Arsenal have a chance down the left-hand side now. But Kudus working back, and that stops Arsenal from breaking. Good stuff from Kudus again. And now Saliba plays it out wide right. And I think it's Havertz who's taken the space up there. Maybe Rice, but actually it's a poor ball. And now Bergvall has it. Has he got any runners here, Bergvall? Comes inside. Saar gives him an option. Saar is being pressed now, though. What is he doing there? Perhaps Saar get a bit overconfident there. Tried to nutmeg in the centre of midfield. And as a result, Arsenal have the ball down the left-hand side. Martinelli. And Saar does well to win the ball back with the help of Porro. And that's the throw. And Saar puts his hand up. That was his first mistake of the game there, Saar. Just a shot there of Thomas Frank talking to, I think it was Matty Wells maybe on the sideline, not sure, but one of his coaches talking about what to do next as Arsenal come out wide right to Saka, but Spencer's in a good position and Odebear helping him out. Saka comes inside to Norgard, turns away, out to Lewis Skelly, who's a bit inverted, so he goes back to Saliba. To White, and he's going to try and dink it over the top of Spence, but there's far too much on it and comes through to Vicario. Well played, Tottenham Hotspur. And Iconic Arden says Frank is always screening. Yeah, he is. He likes to know what's going on. He wants the stats, and he wants to know he's able to change it when needed. And Vicario goes long under the pressure, up towards Rishi, but he's easily beaten by Norgard. And the second ball, just too easy there in midfield. Ødegaard getting it ahead of Bentancur, and Rice now picks up the ball on the halfway line. Kudus in good position, though. Comes out to help as it comes out to Miles Lewis Skelly. Back with Declan Rice, just inside Tottenham's half. Lays it out wide to Ben White. Odebear out there. Arsenal keeping possession here comfortably. Good ball inside to Saka, but not a good ball from Saka. And Odebear keeps it. Bentancur gives it to Spence, who's brave, and then tries the dink down the line. That's easily grabbed. And then Spence does well in central midfield. Really well there, but he's given away a foul. I didn't think it was, to be honest. I didn't think it was. And Spence just winding up some of the Arsenal players there. Ødegaard getting wound up as Spence keeps the ball, as Arsenal want to do it quick. And they do now take the ball, the free kick, sorry. The first one was maybe a foul. The second one wasn't. Arsenal play it through to Saka, who's a bit more central. Comes out to Havertz on the right-hand side. Now Norgard. And to Declan Rice in central midfield, who lays it out wide left to Miles Lewis Skelly. Comes back to Kivior. Wide left now to Martinelli. Porro's there. Martinelli might try and get it. Oh, it's a good ball inside to Lewis Skelly. And comes all the way out now to Saliba, who fancied a shot, but he didn't take it on. Lays it across to Ødegaard. Now to Ben White. Tries the early cross. Mickey van der Ven gets something on it. First time, not enough, but the second time he clears it well. But Arsenal win the ball just inside Spurs' half, and it comes back out to Martinelli now, fronting up Porro. Comes inside and tries. Oh, it's a great ball inside to Rice, but good block from Christian Romero. Good defending from Spurs. Comes back out to Rice, wide left. Again, a good inside ball, but Martinelli tries too much, and it's one. And Spurs now trying to play on the transition. But Kudus loses it, unfortunately. And you've got to work back here, Mohamed. He doesn't. Martinelli cuts inside, comes to Declan Rice, who's trying the ball. Tries to play it in behind Spurs towards Saka, but it comes straight through to Vicario. Good passage of play from Arsenal, but good defending from Spurs. Spurs win the ball on the halfway line here, and Kudus has it now on the right-hand side. He's just taking a little breather, so he gives it back to Porro. I feel like just after that passage of pressure from Arsenal, Spurs are trying to take a bit of a breather, but Arsenal press Vicario all the way back. Sarr does well on the halfway line and clears it just out for a throw inside Arsenal's half. Arteta looking frustrated on the sidelines. Ball is with Kiwior. Comes back to Raya, who lays it out wide to Saliba, who has White with him. Saliba goes for the second run. Oh, and that's too easy over Jed Spence. Saka is in down the right, but Spence works back well. And now Saka fronts Spence up and finds White outside him. Good position here for Arsenal. Bergvall does beautifully, though. And what is Romero doing in his own box there? Romero trying to turn him in his own box. Chance for Arsenal. Shot blocks from Ødegaard. Deary me, Romero. And to be fair to Romero, he got the block on it. It'll be another corner to Arsenal. We're into the 57th minute. Romero puts his foot on the ball in his own box when surrounded by Havertz and Saka and White and loses it. I mean, what are you doing, pal? You're the captain. That's not for you to be doing. Anyway, it's going to be an in-swinging corner from Saka. Still Spurs 1, Arsenal 0. 57th minute. Looks like Ben White's going to have a free run to try and interfere with the keeper. Here it comes from Saka. And it's cleared at the near post again. Spurs have been good at that all day. And now Odegaard putting some pressure on. Well defended, though, by Lewis Skelly. Oh, and he plays a beautiful ball. Good football from Arsenal. Just over the bar from Martinelli. Really good football, to be fair. It's a beautiful touch off from Havertz in the box. Good defending, though, from Van der Ven. Spurs trying to play their way out down the right-hand side. As Arsenal, as you'd expect, because they're losing, putting a lot of pressure on Tottenham when they have the ball at the moment. But it's a throw-in for Porro in the right-back position. Arteta is actually in the way of Pedro Porro here. Not in his own technical area, as ever, because he's a fucking dick. Porro throws it down the line towards Bergvall. And then it's cleared up in the air by Miles Lewis Skelly. So Kiwior gets the first ball. Spurs not getting to the first ball in central midfield. And then Porro does enough. Finds Sarr, who finds Bergvall just on the halfway line now. Bergvall under some pressure, turns away nicely. And finds it back to Porro. Gives it inside to Bentancur. And that should be a Spurs throw. Oh, it's not given as a Spurs throw. Into the 60th minute now. Tottenham 1, Arsenal 0. Goal scored by Pat Matassar just before half-time from just inside the Arsenal half. An absolutely beautiful finish. Bergvall pulls out of a 50-50, but in the end it breaks anyway. And Richarlison, Spurs are 3 against 4 here. Richarlison is on his own. What are you doing, Rishi? Poor play from Richarlison there. He wasn't blessed with options, but probably could have held it up a bit longer. And Arsenal have done well to bring it out. But a good tackle from Bentancur, although he gives away a foul. Arsenal back on the ball. They've had a lot of the possession. The kind of second half has started similarly to the first half, really, with Arsenal having a lot of the possession. Can Spurs play their way into the game similarly to how they did in that first half? Odegaard on the ball, just in Spurs' half. Oh, he plays a good ball in between the lines to Declan Rice. Plays it back to Kivior. Out wide, left to Martinelli now. He's fronting up Porro. And he's taken him on down the line, but great defending from Porro. He tackles it out for a throw-in. Arsenal have the ball again with Saliba. Plays it out wide to Saka, who's fronting up Spence again now. Spence showing him the line, but you know Saka wants to come inside. Comes backwards in the end. Sarr had to be careful. Richarlison helped him out well. Comes back to Saliba again. He dinks it over the top, this time towards Ben White. Spence out there with Ben White this time. Plays a little pass inside, but well done by Bergvall. Lays it off to Odegaard, and he's got 3 around him now, Odegaard. He's got to try and win a foul somehow, and he does. It's exactly what Odegaard did. He knew what he had to do, and he did it well. So far, I've got to say, this is a very impressive performance for Tottenham, and they are making all the substitutions now. 61st minute. Tell, Danso, and Johnson coming on. And the ref eventually is letting the substitutes happen. So Romero is coming off, I think, 17. Kudus coming off. That's a shame. But he's been absolutely outstanding. And Richarlison. So it looks like Odegaard will stay left. Thomas Frank just giving a big hug to Kudus. He's been outstanding. Johnson coming on, you would assume, will play on the right. Tell will play centre forward with Richarlison coming off. And Danso straight swap for Romero. Patch Thomas asking, is that Romero off? Yes, it is. As Richarlison just walks off the pitch. I have to say, Richarlison did a hilarious Instagram post yesterday, if you didn't see it. It was a picture of William Saliba. He just wrote, looking skinny, mate. You need to lift more trophies. I have to say, with these changes, I would kind of expect Spurs probably to lose from here, but let's see what happens. We've certainly taken off 2 of our best players as Spence tries to make some inroads down the left-hand side. Win a corner here. Win a corner, Jed. Well, he tried to take everybody on in the box. And actually, it's come out to Tell in the box, and Spurs have kept the ball. Nice stuff. Bergvall gives it into Spence. Back to Bergvall. We're just on the left-hand side here. Comes back to Bentancur in central midfield. Interesting that Romero's come off before Van der Ven. I wonder if he has a little knock. Porro now under pressure on the right. And he's done brilliantly there, Porro, under pressure from Martinelli. And it eventually gets back to Vicario. They brought Danso on for Romero on the right-hand side of the centre-backs. Obviously, Frank really likes to have balance. And that's what Van der Ven brings. Van der Ven under pressure from Ødegaard, wins a throw-in. Those centre-backs just seem to have broken up play a little bit and stopped a bit of Arsenal momentum there. Good ball inside there from Spence to Sarr, who opens it out to Pedro Porro. Always looking to see if there's a big diag on. And here comes the big diag from Porro. It's an absolutely magnificent ball. Out to Odegaard, taking on in the box. Goes on the left-hand side. And that's a corner. Great stuff from Spurs. Beautiful. Sonny and Yang still warming up on the sidelines. And this is going to be an in-swing corner from Matthias Tell for Spurs. It'd be hilarious if we could score a set piece against these. Here it comes. Oh, it just hits the first man. Comes out to the edge of the box. Oh, and a great ball from Spence. Finds Tell again out wide. Bergvall giving him an option. But fronted up by Ødegaard. Tell gets onto his left foot. Dinks it to the far post. Chance! Oh! It's Mickey van der Ven at the back post. That was brilliant from Tell, and I think he should score. I think he should score. Oh. He got up so well above Lewis Skelly and it just heads it wide. Brilliant football from Matthias Tell. That shows what he can do on the left. Blimey. Long ball over the top from Arsenal, though, over Van der Ven. Brilliant defending. Dived in and got a volleyed clearance on it. Mickey, as ever, slightly looking a bit injured, but he's all right. Arsenal trying to get over the top of Spurs with that long ball. Kevin Danso turns away, gives it to Vicario. And Vic goes long, down the middle. Tell up against Kivior here. Yeah, that was very easy. But, Bentancur had a chance just to give it easy to Odegaard there. And unfortunately, it wasn't a good ball. But anyway, Spence helps him out. It's a throw into Arsenal on the halfway line. Gina Barzilai says, looking very positive. Yeah, I think this has been a great performance so far from Spurs. No matter what happens in the rest of this game, I think it's been a really great performance. Arsenal making a couple of subs now. Zubimendi and Trossard coming on. So Zubimendi and Trossard have come on for Norgard and Martinelli. 68th minute now. Ball straight away comes out wide left to Trossard, running at Porro. Porro showing in the outside nicely, and he's got good help there from Brennan Johnson. Comes back to Lewis Skelly. Saliba outright right to Saka, driving at Spence. But Odegaard helping him, so comes right. First time cross, brilliant clearance from Danso. Shot on the edge of the box, just over and wide. And it's been deflected. I don't know how that got deflected, but that was exactly what Spurs suffered with a lot last season, was the setup from either flank where the wide man lays it back to the fullback who hits a first time cross. It was Ben White. Brilliant defending from Kevin Danso, and then it comes out wide, and actually it was blocked by Brennan Johnson. Just wide, so it's a corner to Arsenal. Into the 69th minute. Here comes the next set piece for Arsenal. Saka's going to bend this one in again. Cleared at the near post, beautifully from Porro. And then Arsenal get it, but Porro manages to clear it second time. And Tell just trying to put some pressure on Arsenal in their own half, and as a result, it goes back to Raya, who's going to go long straight away over towards Porro. Havertz going to win the first one. Porro didn't get enough on that. Falls to Havertz outside the box. He has a dig. Easily saved. Straight down the throat of Vic. But again, Arsenal using the long ball. And it does cause a bit of trouble around Porro with Havertz, who's a strong boy. Spurs lose it in midfield there. And Spence just caught ahead of the ball, but catches up. Saka finds it out wide to White. Oh, great cutback. Big chance, Arsenal. Terrible shot. Blocked easily in the end. That was, I think the ball was bobbling around. Arsenal have the ball back now. Wide left with Trossard. The director of this game on TV is awful. Trossard goes inside. Tell does well, but Arsenal keep the ball. Lewis Skelly now. Out wide again to Trossard. Fronting up Porro and Brennan Johnson. Comes into the middle now with Ødegaard. Wide right now. They've got two players out there. Ben White gets the early cross. It's a deep one. And Trossard manages to keep it in. And again, cuts back to the edge of the box and Lewis Skelly. Spurs very deep at this point. Kivior. Again out to Trossard. Good ball inside into Lewis Skelly, but it comes back again to Kivior, and he's going to try the cross. It's a good one to the back post, but easy for Vicario. Easy for Vicario. Vicario goes long, and it's headed back to Raya. Vicario, I should say, is now the captain on the pitch, now that Romero has gone off. 71 minutes gone. Arsenal have the ball again. Ødegaard lays it out wide right to Ben White. Comes back to Ødegaard. Inside now to Lewis Skelly, inverting. And lays it outside him to Kivior. And now wide left to Trossard. Arsenal, a lot of possession, just moving Spurs around at the moment. But not getting in behind as it stands. But a good run there from, I think it was Zubamendi maybe, I'm not sure. But anyway, Ødegaard. Oh, you might have a dig here, Ødegaard. No, tries to play the ball in behind. Well blocked by Brennan Johnson. Now it comes to Lewis Skelly. Good chance for him to cross here. Gets a good cross in. But Spurs have loads of players at the back. And actually, Jed Spence had enough time probably to take it down on his chest, but he heads it out for a corner. Just being... Oh, and Lucas Bergvall has gone down. He's got cramp. So this will be another corner for Saka, whipping it in. Patch Thomas says there are 638 watching and only 6 likes. Guys, if you haven't pressed that like button on YouTube, please do. Please press that like button. Thank you so much, Patch. Here comes the in-swinging corner. It's deeper this time to the back post. Free header. Too easy there, but it's cleared. Comes to Saka, who shoots. Cleared again by Danso. And that headed out by Mickey van der Ven. Odebear working hard on the left, but can't win it. Tell now working on Saka as well. And Saka goes down. Ref doesn't give a throw in. Doesn't give a foul. Saka pretending he's injured, but the play goes on. Oh, Epic20 says there's over 200 likes. Okay, that sounds more like it. Arsenal now going to kick the ball out of play because Saka has stayed down. And the referee stops it. 73rd minute. Just have a quick look at what people are saying on X. Jay Harris asks, Jay Harris is also from the View from the Lane podcast, by the way. Will Matthias Telby, the latest left winger Thomas Frank converts into a centre forward after Ollie Watkins, Johan Bisser and Kevin Schade? And Sonny is going to come on, guys. He'll get a huge reaction, won't he? Basuma coming on as well. And Ben Davis as well. And they're having a cooling break as well. Just showing a picture of a shot of Pap Sarr, who's scored the only goal of the game so far from the halfway line. Brilliant. Arsenal are going to make some more subs as well. And Thomas Frank having some strong words with Vicario there. It's good to see. Got a drone shot here. Pat says, apologies, guys. I refreshed now and they're 318 likes. Appreciate that, guys. Oh, just showing a lovely touch of Kudus earlier in the game. Dinking it past Havertz. Guys, after this game, I will do a quick 10-minute post-match reaction video. So do get your questions in for after that as well, and I'll answer all of those. Please, guys, if you're watching and you're not subscribed to my channel, do give me a subscribe and press that bell button. Should also say, just a couple of minutes ago, brilliant clearance on the volley from Mickey van der Ven, stopping them from getting through. Okay. So Arsenal bringing on some very young players. Dowman is the one that everybody really loves. Be interesting to see how he does. Zinchenko and Marino also coming on. I'm not going to make a note of the Arsenal ones. I don't care. Arsenal looking pretty stressed on the sidelines. Gyökeres is coming on, though, for his debut. Well, I think it's fair to say we can all say that whatever happens after all these subs, it doesn't even count, does it? Because we've won the game of the first team game. So Gyökeres is getting his first run out. Arsenal fans going crazy. Yeah. SM Football asks, is Gyökeres on? He is. He's just come on. Got about 13 minutes to go, but the ref will obviously find about 5 minutes added time, I'm sure. But I want to see who Spurs' subs are coming on for. Mosquera, another new signing of Arsenal coming on. All right. So Bergvall off. Well, the game has started and I haven't seen who's come on for Spurs at this point. Who's come off, sorry. So Son is on, playing wide left. Basuma starts well there, tracking in midfield. Okay, so it's Odegaard, Van der Ven, and Bergvall who've come on. So it's Son on for Odegaard, Davis on for Van der Ven, and Basuma on for Bergvall. And they have a corner straight away that Odegaard's going to play. Bending away from the keeper here. Here it comes. Cleared, comes to the back post. Big chance for a shot. Cleared. Well done by Jed Spence. It was probably going off for a... It was a shot from down and probably going off for a goal kick, but Spence didn't know for sure, so it'll be another corner to Arsenal. Yeah, Max Dowman is only 15 years old and he's playing in a North London derby. That is impressive no matter what you say. 16 in December, apparently. Anyway, this ball's going to be swung in towards Vicario. Here comes the next corner. Flicked on at the front, and that is a goal kick. Spurs have dealt with them well all day so far. And this is, Richard says, great stream, mate. Makes work easier. Listen, mate, all least I can do. I'm hoping that Tottenham will just defend and defend and defend for the rest of this game, frankly. And just, by which I mean like waste time and waste time and waste time. Vicario taking his time over this goal kick. Eugene says, this feels like Bilbao, doesn't feel like a friendly. Yeah, that's so true. This is a very kind of second string Spurs team on the pitch now, that's for sure. Danso heads it on. Sarr gets some on it as well. I think it was Sarr. Bissouma does well to find Porro, and that's a good ball from Porro just over the top, but White heads it straight back to Raya. Kivior has come off for Arsenal. Rice and Havertz have come off for Arsenal as well. I think it's fair to say they brought on some stronger players, though, in Marino and Zubamendi, two big money signings they've made in the last 6 months. So Arsenal try and dink one over the top, but too much on it. And Vicario picks it up and dives on the ball. And why not? Gives it out to Kevin Danso. He's got Porro outside him. And Porro just goes to hit it down the channel. And that's blocked by Trossard into the 80th minute. I suspect the ref will find 5 minutes, though, because of that cooling break. So probably got about 15 minutes left, realistically. Porro taking his time over the throw, as you'd expect. Finally lets it go. Arsenal win it back on halfway. Trossard flicks it down the line. And Danso will have to get rid of this. Tries a couple of times. Does well. Gives it out to Vicario. He doesn't have Ben Davies with him, so he'll have to go long here, Vic. And he does. Into midfield. Zinchenko pushes Brennan Johnson. Since Johnson's come on the pitch, he hasn't been involved in the game at all. Oh, well played in midfield. I think it's Zinchenko, is it? And Spurs give away a foul, which they had to. Both Bentancur and Pat Matasar getting around him. No, it was Trossard, sorry. But Arsenal take the free kick quickly, still with Trossard on the floor. Looks like Bentancur and Sarr probably going to play 90 here. And here out wide right is the young kid Dowman. But Sonny and Spence in good positions. Dowman still on the ball, opens it out. Zubamendi, but his pass is blocked. Comes back to Ben White. Oh, it was Saliba, apologies. Erdegaard still on the pitch. Dowman now comes inside. Tries to get a perfect cross in. It's a good cross to the back post. And Zinchenko was at the back post. Again, as of last season, not great at defending our back post, Spurs. But his ball across the box was cleared. Arsenal getting up some momentum and pressure now, as you'd expect with all the changes Spurs have made. Dowman on the right wing again, fronting up Spence and Son. They push him back, comes back to Erdegaard, who has White outside him. Comes inside now to Saliba. Spurs in a good shape, though. It's going to have to be a perfect through ball or good cross and finish, or a brilliant shot from outside the box, because Spurs have been in good shape all game. Back on the right-hand side. And here comes the cross from Erdegaard. And there was a foul in the box there, but it's not been given. It was a foul against Danso, in my opinion. But anyway, Arsenal now in with Marino with a cross to the back post. Spence gets a flick on it, and now Sonny gets a chance to open his legs for the first time. Open your legs, Sonny. He's got the pace of Ben White here. Can he win a foul? He's up against two. Can he hold it up? He does hold it up brilliantly, and then plays it down the line to Tell, who's just out-muscled, unfortunately. But that was good play from Sonny. And it comes all the way back to Raya. Sonny, of course, got a great reaction for that. Ball comes out wide right. It's Dowman again running at Spence. He wants to come back on his left all the time here, Dowman. Buffers a little bit, so it comes back to Ben White. And they kick it out. Because Trossard's injured. Well, that's your own time, pal. James Maddison getting some minutes for Spurs. And Trossard is coming off for Spurs. It's coming off for Arsenal. He's got an injury. So Reece Nelson coming on for him. Good to see Madders getting some minutes. And Archie Gray coming on as well. And it's Bentancur and Sarr by the looks of things coming off. Or could it... Yeah, Bentancur and Sarr coming off. They've had good games, really good games. We're into the 85th minute now. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 0. The only goal of the game scored by Pap Matassar. Okay, Spurs. Ben Davies goes long to give the ball back to Arsenal. Raya sweeps it up and gives it back to his centre half. So looks like a central midfield now of Gray, Bissouma, and Madders. Poro clears out a ball. Zinchenko with the throw. Goes backwards. Front three now. Tell. Anyway, Arsenal down the right with Dowman here. Fronting up Son and Spence again. They're in good shape though. And it comes across now to Zinchenko on the left-hand side. He's got help outside him with Nelson. He's going to give it back to Zinchenko, surely, yeah. And Zinchenko will cross it first time. It's a poor cross, though. And a poor clearance from Spurs comes into the Arsenal box. Chance outside the box. Tell did brilliantly. Second shot, terrible. And the pitch is not helping Arsenal when they get in the box with their shots, and that goes wide. In the end, it was a shot for Zubamendi. I think he had two chances just outside the box, but Spurs had bodies in the way, and the pitch didn't help him whatsoever. So it'll be a goal kick, and Vicario taking his time over it, as you'd expect, and he's going to go long. Tell pushed out the way. Arsenal keep possession. Good block there as Zinchenko tried to play it down the line. Brennan Johnson did really well to get his body in the way. Zinchenko takes the throw in. Madder's playing quite far forward alongside Tell at the moment. As Arsenal find it out wide right to Dowman again. Sonny putting in some work to help Spence here as Dowman runs at them both. And both Sonny and Spence do really well. Spence just has the ball slightly nicked off him. That should be a goal kick to Spurs. Sonny got his body in the way. Dowman kicks it off. Samson asks, who's the best player today? For me, Mohamed Kudus was brilliant. He's been brilliant. Anyway, Vicario, again, with 87 minutes on the clock, Spurs just absolutely Bilbaoing it here. Absolutely Bilbaoing it. Vicario taking his time. He's going to just whack this long. Spurs don't really have any physical threat in the final third at all. So when he whacks it long, we will no doubt lose it straight away to Arsenal. But he gets enough on it out wide left. Archie Gray gets a good header on it, and that leads to a throw into Spurs. Well done, Archie. Jed Spence taking his time over the throw, and Jed Spence had a great game as well, as far as I'm concerned. Up against Saka, it's done really well. And Spence throws it over the top, and that's good. Tell now on the left. Spurs gives it back to Madders. Oh, he does well. He looked like he was going to cross and then fronts it back so Spurs can keep the ball a little bit. Gets it back off Spence. Gives it back to Spence. Spurs keeping the ball here. This will wind Arsenal up. If we can keep the ball a little bit here. Arsenal trying to put the press on. Good stuff from Bissouma. Gives it back to Archie Gray. Good stuff from Gray into Maddison. This is lovely from Spurs. And Gray's made a good run here. Can Sonny find him? No, Sonny decides not to. Now he gives it to Gray. Gives it back to Maddison. Spurs just keeping the football. 88th minute. Lovely stuff from Come On You Spurs. Madders dinks it over the top to Spence nicely. Spence comes inside. Don't lose it here, Jed. He's been fouled. But at this stage, Arsenal cannot get the ball off Spurs, and that is what having Madders on the pitch really helps you with. Comes to Ben Davies. Now he'll dink it over the top. And it comes to Raya, but Raya's outside of his box. And Maddison gets a little elbow there he doesn't like. Might have been Brennan Johnson, actually. No, it is Madders. But Arsenal have the ball back. We're now into the 90th minute. I've really enjoyed that passage of play. And now Dowman on the right again. Gives it back to Ben White, who's played all game, to be fair to him. Dowman gets it wide again. He wants to get the cross in, but instead he goes back to the new player whose name I've forgotten, who they've signed off Valencia, the centre-half. Comes out now wide to Reece Nelson, who's driving at the box, driving at Porro. He does well, but Porro does beautifully. And that goes out for a corner. Porro wanted a goal kick for that. Ødegaard is going to bend this corner away from Vicario. We're now 90 minutes down. I reckon there'll be about 5 left. Here it comes. Oh, it's a terrible corner. And Spurs just whack it away. And he's found 6 minutes of added time in a friendly. What the fuck? So Arsenal have it back again, just inside Spurs' half. Ben White. He'll find Max Dowman, I'm sure, and he does. And Spence goes across, and Son's got to go across as well. And he does. And here comes the first time cross from White. There's far too much on it. Comes all the way over, and that's out. And Spurs can just sit on that for a minute. Anaconic Arden says 6 minutes for what? It'll be for like the water break and shit like that. But whatever. Whatever. And Arteta actually complaining on the sideline about the time wasting. Mate, chill out. It's friendly. Sonny on the pitch. He doesn't look delighted, but he is working hard. Be interesting to hear what he actually wants for his career next. If he wants to leave, then I think we'll all happily let him leave. Reefer, thank you for your super chat. Says there's no such thing as a friendly with Arsenal. Really appreciate that, mate. Yeah, completely agree with you. Very fair point. Let's try and see out this last 5 minutes. Wouldn't surprise me if we don't, but we've played really, really well. Really well. Bit of head tennis in central midfield. Archie Gray does well. Kev Danso just flies in. He's so good in the air, Kev. And Basuma gets up with an important header as well. Then a bit of studs in midfield from Arsenal. And actually, they get it out wide right here. Dowman's in a good position. Spence, you've got to show him the outside here, Spence. Stand up, Jed. Brilliant defending from Jed Spence. Corner. And here come Arsenal. They're going to bend this corner in towards Vic. We're into the 93rd minute now of the 6. So 4 more to go. Just Brennan Johnson being told to keep his arms down against Marino. Madison is there marking Gyökeres, which can't be right. Marino and Johnson booked. Ref just getting a little bit too serious here, I think. Just stay strong here, Brennan. Just stay strong. Good lad. Here it comes from Ødegaard. Oh, free header at the front post. Vicario's got to be strong, and he is. Just 1 or 2 where there have been too many free headers from these set pieces, but nothing has come off for Arsenal so far, and I'm here for that. Coming up to 93 minutes. Vic just goes long, hacks it massive up in the air. The big Gary Owen for any rugby fans. Zinchenko wins the first one. Ben Davis wins the second. And flicked on nicely from Son towards Tell, who probably could have chested that down and kept possession, but he didn't. Tell really a lone striker now and not able to hold it up. As they come down the right again, Ødegaard bringing it inside. It will eventually come out to Dowling, whatever his name is, the 15-year-old. He plays a good ball. Brilliant stuff. Oh, but it's too heavy, and that's a goal kick to Spurs. Ben White had run outside him, but nothing came of it. Yeah, Daniel Wright says Spence at left back whilst the doggy is out is a no-brainer. Yeah, I think Spence is better at left back than Wright. I really do. He looks really comfortable out there. Just a bit of a lack of balance for Spurs, but we haven't suffered from it today. Spurs fans in the stadium all waving their flags. And Vicario eventually takes the goal kick. It's quite straight. Again, more bad directing from the TV director. And Arsenal now breaking forward. They've got 2 on the wide left. Oh, I'll tell you what, it was a good tackle by Johnson, but it flicks it back. Archie Gray gets a good clearance in the box, and Porro gets it out for a throw-in. We're into now the last 100 seconds of this game. I don't think Spurs are going to lose it. That's the good news. Reece Nelson on the left-hand side now. Back to Zinchenko. Here comes Nelson driving at Porro. Porro gives away a silly foul. Deary me, Pedro. Good point made there by the commentator. Says this is the third winger of the day that Porro has faced. So we'll let him off that. There's 1 minute and 15 seconds left. This you'd think will be one of the last chances that Arsenal get. It's wide left. Ødegaard is taking it, so he's going to swing it away from Vicario. Another set piece. Set pieces really are the only times Arsenal have looked dangerous. I think they've had one shot. Other than that, that they kind of developed themselves. Here comes Ødegaard with the free kick. I can't see it. It's cleared by Danso. It's just coming to the edge of the box. Comes back out to Ben White. Now on the left-hand side. Comes to Ødegaard again. Don't foul him. Madders did well there. And Porro now breaking forward. Man on Pedro. And Porro plays a big, old, long ball. And this is great for Spurs in the wide left. Don't cross it, Sonny. What are you doing, Sonny? Sonny crossed it when he should have taken it into the corner with 30 seconds to go. And now Arsenal are coming forward. That really winds me up. Sonny, you better work back, pal. You work back. Madders gets a foot on it again. Oh, and it's a free kick. But there's only 20 seconds left. Sonny was naive there. Arsenal have the ball. Again, wide right. 10 seconds to go. Come on, ref. Blow up. Ødegaard comes inside. Lays it inside to Zubamendi. Coming towards the box now. Out wide left to Nelson, who's going to get a cross in. No, he doesn't. Goes to Zubamendi. Nelson dives on the floor outside the box. Comes wide to Zinchenko. And now comes all the way back outside the box to Saliba. He tries the dink. And here comes Vicario, but he doesn't come. And that's it. Goal kick. That should be it. That should be it. Brilliant for Thomas Frank. I'm really pleased for Thomas Frank here. These are the kind of performances you need to put in against the top teams. And we've shown ourselves to be hard to beat, difficult to play against. I'm pleased for Thomas Frank. Huge news. You might just think this is only a friendly, but actually to get a result like this will really get people on board. Fantastic performance. Vicario, again, taking his time over the goal kick. It's Mosquera, the sub who's come on for Arsenal, whose name I forgot. Oh, the ref letting it go on. What are you doing, ref? And that's a throw into Spurs on the halfway line. They'll take the time over that. Sonny was a bit naive a second ago. Should have run it into the corner. Arteta looks disappointed. It's still going on somehow. Spence goes down the line. Ref still playing on. What is going on here, ref? What is going on? That's the end. And big Kevin Danso gives it a huge fist. This is my instant post-match reaction to the Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 0. Pre-season friendly, some might say, but I would agree. There are no friendlies in the North London derby. And Tottenham Hotspur deserved that victory. Not just because they hit the post 3 times in the first 30 minutes of the game, but mostly because of Thomas Frank. I'm pleased for Thomas Frank. His first big game in charge of the Lily Whites. And he has shown today in one game why it was the correct decision for Daniel Levy and the board to unfortunately dispense with the services of Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou brought us a trophy. He brought us amazing attacking football. But today we saw, playing against one of the best teams in Europe, semi-finalist of the Champions League, today we saw how you have to play against those teams. You have to be narrow. You have to be dogged. You have to know when to get rid of it. And that's what Tottenham did. It wasn't a Bilbao performance by any means. In fact, through large periods, especially of the first half, but also the second half, very comfortable in possession, very happy to draw Arsenal on. It wasn't Bilbao in any way. It wasn't backs to the wall. Arsenal, in fact, never once got in behind us. They only really looked dangerous from set pieces. But a victory like that against Arsenal in his early part of his tenure, so good for Thomas Frank. Really pleased for him. And it shows that the players are listening to him. Obviously, we know that when Ange Postecoglou left the club, a lot of the players said or alluded to the fact they were unhappy with the decision from their Instagram accounts, from their Twitter accounts. But it shows to me that those players are really listening to what Thomas Frank is trying to drill into them. And there is no North London derby win that is bad. Nothing. We played beautifully. Like I said, hit the post 3 times in the first half. And yeah, Arsenal had a lot of possession, but Tottenham looked dogged. And especially in that first half where we had our first team out, a really strong first team, Arsenal at times did not know how to play against us. And I'll say this before I even get into the player ratings later on in this post-match review. We have a proper baller in Mohamed Kudus. He is an unbelievable footballer. He reminds me of Moussa Dembele in terms of his low center of gravity, the way that opposition players bounce off him, but with pace and an ability to get outside people and to beat people in the forward positions. He played unbelievably today. Not the only one. Jed Spence, who was up against Bukayo Saka, really brilliant. All the back four. But I'll go into player ratings later. I'll just talk you through what happened in that game. In the first minute, there was a familiar pattern, which was Arsenal pressing Vicario onto his left foot, and he had to try and kick it long with his left, which he struggled with all day, and that led to, it was a bad kick, a bad flat one, led to a shot from Ødegaard. But as with most of the game today, whenever Arsenal had shots, Spurs players were there to defend and in great shape. Second minute, great defending, the first of many moments of great defending from Jed Spence, where he went up against Saka. Third minute, Saliba with one of Arsenal's actually best chances in the game as early as the third minute. A corner from Saka was cleared out. Ødegaard volleyed it into the ground, bounced through, and Saliba, as he was coming out, had a chance to head it into the far corner, but he got too much on it and it went wide. 7th minute, first time we saw long ball from Arsenal. They played a lot of direct stuff, trying to get over the top of Spurs, but we didn't let it happen. But a long ball from Raya led to a chance from Havertz, and he couldn't get enough on it, and it just went into Vicario's arms. 8th minute was the first moment of the game where we saw unbelievable strength from Mohamed Kudus in central midfield. Just players bouncing off him, laid it out to Ødegaard, who looked bright in the first half. Clearly, Thomas Frank wants to play with pacey wingers. And today he started with Ødegaard on the left and Kudus on the right. And Ødegaard was looking fresh, looking direct. He got to the byline this time and it went out for a corner. 9th minute, first time we hit the post. It was from the corner. Porro whipped it in and Van de Ven causing all sorts of trouble for David Raya on the line. And as a result, it went all the way and hit the far post and went out. 16th minute was where I've just written a note to say that we've had 3 minutes of a brilliant passage of play from Tottenham Hotspur. Left and right, drawing Arsenal around the pitch. Beautiful stuff. It ended with a dink over towards Kudus at the back post, I think from Bentancur. It didn't quite find him, but that was really when Tottenham started to find their confidence. And against, like I said, one of the best teams in the land, one of the best teams in Europe, it was really pleasing to see Spurs just pop it about. 17th minute, Rice was nearly in on goal after the lone mistake that Christian Romero made today, trying to head it back to his keeper. Didn't get enough on it, but Pedro Porro got back to block the shot, and he was in far better defensive positions all day today, Pedro Porro, than he was under Ange Postecoglou last season. 23rd minute, I made a note to say this is a good scrap. Pat Matassar had been brilliant in that first 25 minutes. He'd already made by that point 4 absolutely vital defensive tackles, winning the ball back from Arsenal in central midfield. 27th minute, actually, just in between this and the 27th minute, we hit the post again, this time from a Kudus corner on the right-hand side. He bends it in. Again, Van der Sar causing absolute trouble in front of the keeper. And Richarlison, who's at the back post, really should have got his head on it, but it was almost like he was the wrong side of the back post. And it hit the post and somehow went over the bar instead. 27th minute was the third time Spurs hit the bar in the first half an hour. Kudus managed to get away from a couple of players who tried to foul him and Richarlison just outside the box. Eventually, Kudus finds it out to Ødegaard, who shapes his body kind of Thierry Henry style to bend it into the far corner. And he doesn't get any bend on it, and it just hits the outside of the post. But to hit the post 3 times in the first half an hour was pretty impressive from Spurs. Bentancur in the 31st minute did really well defensively to help Jed Spence. He was then booked, Bentancur, in the 35th minute for taking out Saka. It was an important foul to give away. 37th minute, some outstanding defending from Mickey Van de Ven in his own box to win a foul. He saw that Arsenal coming at him and just picked the exact right time to go and nick the ball ahead of an Arsenal player and went down like a sack of spuds. 40th minute, Spence had to give away an important foul after some good pressing from Arsenal. 42nd minute, one of the moments of the game, Romero, under pressure in his own box, just took the piss out of Kai Havertz, nutmegged him, and as a result, Havertz was so out of control that he went through, I think it was Jed Spence on the byline. Should have been booked for that, but incredible from Romero. And then, undoubtedly, the moment of the game, just before the half-time, 45th minute, Spurs press Arsenal in central midfield. I think Arsenal fans will think there was a foul from Richarlison, I think, on Miles Lewis-Skelly, but it didn't matter because Pat Matasar picks the ball up, sees Raya off his line because he's been miles out trying to play that initial first pass, and just beautifully strokes it with his laces from just inside the Arsenal half. The first time Spurs have scored from the halfway line since Harry Kane did it against Juventus in pre-season. That was probably, 10 years ago or more now. And beautiful moment for Pat Matasar, his third goal of pre-season. Also, that wasn't the end of that half. In the 3 minutes of added time after that goal, Pat Matasar had to do a great bit of defending, a great defensive header from a good cross coming in from the left from Arsenal. Into the second half, Spurs made a good start. Bergvall and Sarr winning more tackles defensively in half-time. 49th minute, great stuff from Odegaard on the right, found Kudus. Tottenham looking really good at this stage. However, Sarr made kind of maybe his only mistake of the half in the 51st minute. A bit overconfident in midfield, but when he lost the ball and Arsenal were breaking forward, Sarr worked back really hard, as did Mohamed Kudus, who all game, until he was substituted, Mohamed Kudus worked incredibly going forward, looked like an absolute Rolls Royce of a player, but also defensively, absolutely determined to work for the team. 54th minute, I've written a note, good passage of play from Arsenal, equally good defending from Spurs though, and that could probably sum up the entire game today. That's exactly how Tottenham played. 56th minute, Romero made his second mistake actually of the game, overconfident in his own box, trying to turn three Arsenal players. He lost it, led to a shot from Odegaard, which was blocked. However, that block was from Romero, so he found his way to make up for his mistake. 57th minute, good football from Arsenal led to Martinelli shooting over the bar. Probably their second best chance of the game after the header from Saliba in the third minute. The ball was played into Havertz in the Spurs box. He laid it off beautifully to Martinelli. Havertz did cause us trouble all day. He's a good player, Havertz. The great touch from Havertz led it into Martinelli, but Van der Ven put him under enough pressure where his shot went over the bar. 59th minute was a great chance on the transition for Richarlison. He had Odegaard outside him to his left, but he didn't get his head up and instead tried to drive down the middle and ran into trouble. 60th minute, I made a great note to say that Porro doing beautifully against Martinelli. Porro had to play against three different wingers all day today. Fantastic performance from him. First group of subs in the 61st minute, Tell, Danso and Johnson on for Romero, Kudus and Richarlison. 64th minute, amazing diagonal ball from Porro to Odegaard. Beautiful pass. He got to the byline and won a corner. Then the 65th minute, the best bit of play from Matthias Tell, possibly some of the best we've seen from him in a Spurs shirt. He got in down the left, got to the byline, perfect dink cross to the back post. Mickey van der Ven comes in, should score. He got above Miles Lewis-Skelly, but it went just wide. That would have been beautiful to go 2-0 up at that point. 67th minute, more subs. Zubamendi and Trossard on for Norgard and Martinelli. 68th minute, great header from Danso led to a shot wide from Arsenal. Danso kind of with a massive header when a beautiful cross came in from the right-hand side. Kind of headers we weren't making nearly enough last season, to be honest. And I think that's because our defensive line was kind of 5 to 10 yards deeper in this game throughout. Shot for Havertz in the 69th minute, straight down Vic's throat, easy for him. 70th minute, I made a note because the commentator suggested how Spurs had basically been comfortable all game, and I would agree with that. 72nd minute, Bergvall went down with cramp. Spence headed out for a corner when arguably he could have chested it down. They're just showing Pat Matasar got man of the match today. Pleased for him. With that brilliant goal, you deserve it, mate. But I'd probably give it to Kudus maybe in terms of how he played for the rest of the game. 73rd minute, amazing clearance from Mickey van der Ven, running backwards on the slide, on the volley to stop Arsenal from getting a ball over the top. More subs for Spurs, 74th minute, Son, Davis and Basuma on for Bergvall, van der Ven and Odegaard. 81st minute, one of the few occasions a cross came to the back post and Arsenal had a free header there, but we dealt with the second ball. 83rd minute, good to see Maddison come on for Spurs. Archie Gray as well on for Bentancur and Sarr. 85th minute, chances in the box for Arsenal, but scuffed wide. Tottenham always having bodies in front of the shots from Arsenal. They're just showing the stats here. Arsenal had 16 shots to Spurs' 6. Only one on target for each, though. 55% ball possession to Arsenal. I'd say a lot of those shots from Arsenal came in the last 20 minutes when they were really trying to push. So I don't see that as really that bothersome. 89th minute, great passage of keep ball from Spurs. And Porro got a tackle in out for a corner when we were under some pressure. He thought it was a goal kick. And then they found 6 minutes of added time in which more brilliant defending from Jed Spence, not getting it out for a corner. Porro did give away one dangerous foul, but we dealt with a free kick. And then just one moment at the end, which was a bit disappointing, where Sonny could have run the ball into the corner and wasted some time, but he didn't. He tried to get a perfect cross in, and unfortunately, it didn't lead to anything as Arsenal came on the transition. But overall, I'm just absolutely ecstatic. Like I said at the top, so happy for Thomas Frank. I'll give my player ratings. Vicario didn't really have many saves to make. I'll give him a 7. He came and claimed some crosses. His distribution was fine. A lot more longer balls from Vicario this season because Thomas Frank is going to say to this Spurs team, yes, play it out from the back when you can. Play it out from the back when there's space. Goad on the pressing team. But when you're under too much pressure and it's too dangerous, you clear it. And I like that. I'm here for it. Porro, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. Thought he was outstanding. Spence, 8.5 out of 10. Thought he was outstanding against Bukayo Saka. Van der Ven and Romero, 8 out of 10. Actually, maybe Romero 7 out of 10 because he just got a little overconfident at times. That's something that has to change, especially when he has the captain's armband on. Bentancur, 7 out of 10. He was excellent in the right places all game. Sarr, 8 out of 10 because of the goal, because of his defensive tackles. Maybe even an 8.5 out of 10. Bergvall, 7 out of 10. He did well. Odebear, 7 out of 10. Again, looked fresh, looked sharp. Final ball needs to improve. Kudus for me, 9.5 out of 10. And Richarlison, 7 out of 10. Really enjoyable, friendly. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing the watch along with you guys. This is the end of my post-match reaction video. Wherever you are, wherever you've been watching, do give this video a like. Do subscribe if you're not already a subscriber to my channel for daily Tottenham Hotspur transfer content throughout this transfer window and all the news and views from White Hart Lane. And I'll be bringing you watch-alongs as well from the Newcastle game, from the Bayern Munich game, and heading into next season. Tottenham 1, Arsenal 0, the North London derby. Get the memes going, boys. Take the piss out of Arsenal again. Not only have they not won a trophy, not only have they bottled winning the Premier League for the last few seasons, but now we're starting to beat them in games as well under Thomas Frank, who looks to me like a great manager. Come on, you Spurs.